Greetings, y'all. Greetings. Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Brown Girls Are Beautiful. I'm your hostess and your melanated queen, y'all. And y'all know it's very early. It's like 1:56 a.m. And I woke up, y'all. I woke up in a new Bugatti. No, but I woke up and I was like, I didn't do F Your Feelings Friday, y'all, because I was so irritated today. Lonesome Dove, what's good? Thank you for the like. So irritated today, y'all. I substitute taught fourth grade, and that went okay. It is thundering, and we're having a torrential downpour right now, and I'm hot. I woke up. It's like I don't even need the heat on. It's so hot. My day was okay, but I'm just exhausted mentally, emotionally. And I just titled this video to talk to y'all. I was just talking to my friend in Dallas, and she's going through it too, y'all. And it just seems like people that try to be decent in this world go through it the worst. And I don't think people talk about this stuff enough. We're having a real bad torrential downpour, y'all, and it's thundering outside. So I'm gonna tell you, this is gonna be like a story time. I was going to probably talk about it another time, but I was just like, I'm going to go live right now and talk about it. Here's the truth about real estate, Lonesome Dove. And you might not have this experience, but I'm going to talk about it because it needs to be talked about on this channel. I don't care who doesn't like it. So I received a call from one of my colleagues the other week. And she helped me when I had my wrist injury and everything. So I was going to actually join with her the same firm that she was joining. She told me last year in December about joining this other firm. And she said, I think you'll like it better. I think you'll have better support. Um, she was just telling me a lot of the good information about why we should, switch over. So I was like, well, I'll check it out because I don't like to hop around from different firms and stuff like that. I like to just, be at a stable firm. Well, anyway, I met with the broker in charge there, and he was like, yeah, we definitely have a place for you here. So he was like, I think you'll be a good addition, a good fit for the team. And so we set up the training. Keep in mind, when we set up the training, I think this was, I ended up fracturing my wrist, okay? December 23rd of last year, I fractured this wrist right here that I've been working on. And this came out of nowhere, y'all. And I'm right hand dominant, so this was my right hand. I could not do my hair. I couldn't really do what I needed to do effectively for myself. So my hair was looking a hot mess that day because I might post the picture of it. I have video footage of all this stuff that happened. But basically, that particular day when it happened, I was supposed to be flat ironing my hair. Well, you know how my hair gets. It was just bushy. I got a picture of me on the in the hospital with my hair just poofed up like this. I got my real estate badge on, and I was in a lot of pain. Well, I've never, ever in life had a broken bone. I've never in life had a broken bone, y'all. So it was very devastating for me. I was in disbelief. And I'm like, what have I done to myself? What am I going to do now? I have fractured my right wrist and I'm right hand dominant. Everything that I do, like writing, cooking, cleaning, doing my hair, depends on my right hand. That just taught me my strength. That taught me my inner strength. That taught me how resilient I was when I had to actually drive with my left hand, write with my left hand, even though it looked like a kindergartner was writing. Everything that I did was with my left hand. Even I had to wash my hair with my left hand, y'all. I couldn't do anything but like the best that I could do. But you know what I noticed? Slowly but surely, every single day, I felt I was healing. And I spoke healing over myself. I spoke healing over my body. I took baths and I would play healing music for myself because, I was telling you how they tried to rush me to surgery. And I refused the surgery because I didn't think I needed it. Throughout all of this, I ended up going to training at the new firm. My colleague would come over here. She would help me with my hair. She made sure I get to my training on time. And the training was 2 weeks, y'all. I had to be there at 8 a.m. on the other side of town. So I couldn't drive. Went through all of that. And the goal was that I would fully start the onboarding process at this new real estate firm. Well, they made a decision unbeknownst to me behind my back that they wanted to have a meeting. And several people, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of the word that they use. It's like they unaffiliate you with the firm. Because I had started the transition process and everything, transitioning my credentials over to the MLS system, just everything I needed to do, I was doing it, right? I had met the people in the office, everything. And so they decided one day when I was in class with the children, I was a dance teacher that day. I guess they tried to call my phone. I did not answer because I can't be on the phone with children. But I already let them know that I was substitute teaching, right, in the daytime because it gives me the flexibility to keep my schedule open for real estate. So when I sent that information over to the trainer, she sent me back like a thumbs up, like, oh, okay, like that was a good thing. She knew that I was working with a broken wrist. Everybody saw my cast, even though I tried to keep all of that hidden. I would wear like a shawl over my. I kept myself very wrapped up because this happened in the winter time, and I wanted to protect my bones and things like that. So they decided, let me see, February, March. I think it was like in April, because no, my cast came off in February. So this happened in February, y'all. My cast came off February the 13th, which is my granny's birthday. They decided, hi CJ, just I'm having story time. They decided in February, that they wanted to unaffiliate me with the office and not tell me. You know what they did? She left me a voice message. Now, this trainer, was overweight and she has heart problems, from my understanding, from drug use in the past, right? And instead of them, and I was supposed to go in for training that very next week, y'all. I was supposed to go in for more training to continue everything that very, very next week because we already had set up the meeting. We already had talked about it. So I'm like, you couldn't have allowed me to come back in to complete what I was going to do. You know that I'm working with a broken wrist. Y'all know they knew my situation, right? I guess that didn't matter. So, yeah, what am I doing up this late? I woke up. So they decided to do this and then leave me a voice message about it. So I call and I'm talking to her and she's like, oh, maybe you want to go. It was a car accident. I didn't want to talk about it at the time. But yeah, maybe you want to go to a different firm. And then she's telling me like I can go to this virtual firm that doesn't have an office. First of all, bitch, you don't tell me where I can go. And I didn't tell them, but I never disassociated with my other firm. I was still a part of that office. I just didn't let them know that. And I'm glad that I did that because, something in the back of my head says that I always have to look out for myself. Because I'm going to tell you something about these white Caucasians, and I don't care who gets offended. They don't care about you. That's the reality of it. Okay? They don't care. So I'm thinking this is very crass because the broker in charge didn't even call me. Like I called him when I was in class one day because one of my neighbors wanted to sell their house and I was trying to get some feedback from him. How, yeah, I was trying to get some feedback from him. So we talked about it, and we talked about a couple of deals that I was trying to get solidified. So she tells me all your deals that that you brought to the firm, you can take them with you. Maybe another time you can revisit this situation, but right now this is a decision that we made, blah blah blah. So I'm like, well, you know that I was supposed to start my training and complete all of this. So I just didn't understand why they would make that decision without talking to me first. But that's what they decided to do. So then I called and I asked to speak to the she was like the director because she had reached out to me so we could set up a meeting for me to onboard. So I wanted to talk to the director. Well, lo and behold, I felt that it was very weird and strange because when I asked to speak to her, she sends me a text message. What is, can I ask what this is about first? I never responded because, bitch, if you're the director and I'm asking to speak to you, you should have no problem speaking to me. So I recorded the whole conversation. I voiced my concerns, letting her know that I had a whole plan of contingency to continue my training. And we had a meeting scheduled that following week for me to complete everything. So, how do y'all make a decision to unaffiliate me with the firm? And then she's just listening and not saying anything, right? And then I said, not just that, but that was a complete waste of my time to come in there for 2 weeks straight with a broken wrist, knowing that I'm going through doctor's appointments and everything else that I have to go on, that I have to take on. Yeah, that was very inconsiderate. She didn't care. She had a very nonchalant attitude. Keep in mind this is another Caucasian person. So be careful with these people, these Caucasoids out here, y'all. Um, when it comes to like business, everybody will backstab you. It doesn't matter who it is. They definitely will. They don't look at you as a human being. They don't look at you as a person. So that was that. So you know what? After the conversation, and I felt her energy through the phone was very nonchalant. She didn't care for her to be a director. I blocked her. And I was like, and I find that it was, kind of unprofessional that the broker in charge didn't even reach out to me. I blocked him. I blocked all of these bitches from my phone because I don't need to be a part of an environment that's like that. Well, weeks later, my colleague, and by the way, she's very sweet. She's from Jamaica. She was telling me that, it was a little bit of backstabbing going on with the woman that called and gave me the bad news about I'm unaffiliated with the office. She was like, yeah, she's no longer the trainer anymore, and her right hand man, her partner in crime, is she was a fellow realtor. She's doing the training now. Now I did like her. She's a white young lady, but she was killing it with real estate, and I did like her. So she basically took over that training class, right? Well, I found out that that same lady that wanted to unaffiliate me from the office is now having health issues. And I already knew that she had a heart problem because she told the entire training class about it. Um, Not that I wish anything on anybody, but that is what it is. So fast forward until today. Smile on your face all the time. Fast forward till today. I'm gonna tell you what happened today, y'all. So my colleague had actually sent me over a referral. Well, actually, she gave this lady my information because she's representing the seller, and so she did not want to practice what's called dual agency. So she was like, "Well, I'm representing the seller, so I'm gonna let you represent the buyer." And I was like, "That would be great." Yes, I know all about smile in your face, those backstabbers. I know all about it. So she goes on to say, I'll look out for you or whatever. So she said, I gave this lady your information. She might want to purchase this property. that I'm representing the sellers for. So I was like, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for considering me. She said, yeah, no problem. I just thought that we would work great together. So a few days later, she calls me. She's like, did this lady ever reach out to you? And I was like, no, she has not. She said, well, that lady told me she reached out to you. I said, I didn't get a call, a text message, or email, nothing. So she said, well, I'm not going to, violate her privacy. She said, because I would give you her information, but I said, well, it is what it is. I'm so accustomed to like people being real effed up and wish-washy. That's the nature of people. So I thought nothing of it. So the other day I was in class, I got a voicemail and I didn't know it until I went on break and I checked my phone. So I'm like, well, let me go ahead and call this lady back because she's reaching out to me. So it was like maybe 2 hours later, I call her back. She answers the phone. So she starts telling me that she's renting this townhouse, and she was like, but, they want to sell it. So I said, let me get this straight. The seller or the property management company there, it wants to sell the property, and you're thinking about purchasing. She's like, correct. So we're going through the conversation and I'm like, okay, so when are you going to be available so that I can meet up with you? So she was like, this evening, if that's not too soon. So I told her, I said I could meet her at 4 p.m. And technically, I was only 3 minutes away from her because the school was only 3 minutes away. So I said, I can meet you at 4 p.m. So I went over there. I prepared myself as best as I could. And, I built a rapport with her as best as I could because this was her first time meeting me, you all. So I was very respectful. I was open to any questions she had. She wanted me to come look at the property. I did. She voiced her concerns about what she wanted fixed. I wrote all of this stuff down. I took notes. I took photos. I was giving her information. I let her know, I said, look, I know this is a lot for you because basically she informed me that she had a 2 week notice before they sold that property, before they would put that property on the market. And she had to make her decision in 2 weeks on if she wanted to purchase that property. Well, this was on a Wednesday. She was supposed to make her decision by today. So I told her I would hold her hand through the process. I would explain everything that we have to go through. I explained the process as diligently as I could while I was in front of her because she had to go to a Jonas Brother concert at 6 p.m. that evening, right? So I didn't want to take up too much of her time, but she started mentioning the fact that she had a partner. So that lets me know that she's probably GAY. And, if she is, that's her business. I'm not here to judge that. That has nothing to do with me. I'm just trying to get this transaction to go through, right? So I asked her when would her partner be available? Would I be able to meet her partner the next day? No, they have to work. They're not going to be available. I'm like, okay. So, I'm telling her the first thing that we need to make sure is that she can secure her financing to purchase. So she told me she had already looked into Rocket Mortgage, right? So I said, yes, I'm familiar with them. She said, but I don't know if you have anyone that you use. I said, yes, I'm connected with, other lenders and stuff like that. And I said, I can get you connected. So I said, but we definitely have to make sure that you can secure the financing first because in order to purchase anything, unless you're paying in cash, you have to be pre-approved. So I said, it's great that you've been doing your research. And I told her I would be sending her some information later on that evening. I said, I don't want to inundate you with too much information because it can be a lot. But, I just wanted to make sure she understood the process. So I stand there, I'm writing stuff down. I took notes. I handed her this sheet of notes. I told her I would be emailing her all of this information as well, just to reiterate what we went over, right? Because, like I said, this is a very quick process, and this is the first time I'm meeting her. I'm following up with her. I'm letting her know here's a lender that you can speak to. She speaks to the lender that evening. This is my normal process with all clients. Speak to the lender first so we know where you stand financially, because if you don't have a pre-approval, you can't put an offer in. Basically, as simple as that, unless you have cash. And even if you have cash, you have to have proof of funds, and I have to have that letter, right? So the lender speaks to her. They had, they're going back and forth on the text messages, the phone calls, and everything. So then my colleague says, I know of another lender that probably could get her some incentives. So, I call the lady back. I tell her I've been doing research on the property. I basically, you know, looked up the properties that sold in her area, and I told her, what my thoughts were on these properties. So, I let her know there's another lender that, could potentially help her out. But by her being the client, you have to make the best informed decision for yourself, right? So whoever can get you the best deal, that's who you go with. So I'm giving her all this great resourceful information, right? And I said, and I'll be following up with you later to check on you. Okay, I'll talk to you later. So I send her over some emails. I send her over documentation. I send her over a lot of things that she needs to be privy to. And I said, in order, for me to advocate for you, in order for us to work together, I need these documents signed, right? Because technically, I can't show a property. The real estate commission has made it so that you can't go show properties to anyone without them signing a buyer's agency agreement. That's the rule. Also, we have to get them to sign a working with real estate agency agreement as well. So I put in the email all these things. I told her we can go over this documentation. Let me know if you have any questions. I will explain it all to you, right? But basically, this is what this is for. I sent her paragraphs explaining everything. I sent her over a buyer presentation outlining the process. I sent her over a lot of great information. So she said that she was going to take a look at it on her lunch break or whenever she had time, the next day. The next day comes, and the other lender is sending her messages. She's going back and forth in the text messages, and then she's telling me that, yeah, I'm going to take a look at what you sent me, right? So today the lender is reaching out to her, and we're in a group chat, right? Because I introduced her in a group chat. So the lender is asking for her information, going over all the process with her, and I'm seeing all this on my phone, right? So around 1:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I check my phone, and I'm getting a text for her as I'm trying to get her pre-approved, right? I get a text from her, and I should read this text verbatim, but right now I have my other phone and I'm using as a light. She says, "You are exceptionally excellent and professional." She was like, "You've been wonderful. However, my sister has introduced me to the family realtor, and that's who I would like to work with. That's who I'm going to use. So I'm going to be using her. But in the future, if there's anyone else that I know of, I will definitely recommend you. Please let me know if there's anything else that you need from me." So, bitch, you knew that you were going to do this. So you're a backstabber. If you had a family realtor and your sister is introducing you to the family realtor, why the fuck didn't you call your family realtor from the very beginning? Where was your family realtor to help get you these deals and incentives? And not only that, she's basically pre-approved. The lender said we can go under contract right away. She's already living in the property that she wants to purchase, right? So I told her we could close by December. That's how quickly it can go. So I'm like, what did I do wrong? Nothing. I did nothing wrong. I don't think I was the right complexion for her, right? Keep in mind, she's a caucasoid. Keep in mind that when I'm in there talking to her, I'm looking her in her face, looking her in her eyes. She wouldn't even look at me in my face. She wouldn't even look back at me in my face. Wouldn't even look at me in my face, right? The whole time. And I noticed that I pick up on body language very well. Keep in mind that same woman that unaffiliated me with the firm. Whenever I would talk to her, I noticed her body language. She was another caucasoid. She would never look at me directly. And when I was talking to my colleague that went over there, which is the seller's agent, because she had to deliver the news to the woman that the owner wants to sell this property. She said the buyer wouldn't even look at her in her face. She would like make indirect contact. So let this be a lesson to y'all. When people can't stare you in your face or look you in your eyes, it's because they're guilty of something and they know they're full of shit. Why did she do that, Lonesome Dove? Because I'm not the right complexion. And let me tell you something. This happens more often than what people admit to. A lot of us realtors, melanated female realtors that are colleagues, we talk about this amongst one another. This is a real thing that happens. I remember my Caucasian instructor was a male, but he was flamboyant. He was gay, and he said that he and I would have two different experiences. He told the entire class. He said because she is a melanated female. He didn't say melanated, but he said I am a white male. I'm going to have a totally different experience than her. So it is an unspoken like truth out here that everybody knows that people don't talk about, that white people, and I'm just going to say it like it is, don't want to work with you strictly because you're melanated. They don't want you to get that commission. They don't want to see you make the money. They don't want to see you prosper in that way. It's okay if you're doing something like anything else. You said this is always in the back of my mind in anticipation. Lonesome Dove, because you're Hispanic, I don't think you'll have this problem because Hispanic people are going to stick together. They're going to work with one another. Melanated people will work with anybody. They'll give their business to anybody. I had a melanated person stab me in my back. She was my neighbor across the street. I think I told y'all about that. I used to print their shirts for them for their company. She's been over here before. And she told me she wanted to sell her house. And I was doing all this research for them. I sent over the documents for them to sign. I, spoke to her and her husband. She used to come over here all the time, gave me hugs. You know what she did? You know how I found out that she wanted to sell her house with someone else? When they put the for sale sign outside and she stopped responding to my emails and text messages and got real quiet. Her house is still sitting out there. I don't ever see him come over here and check on the house. I live right here. I told her if it's anything you need, I can come help y'all with your house when they were trying to get it prepared. I said, I'm right across the street. I've been in this neighborhood. I know the area. I could sell this house for y'all. You think that mattered? People are backstabbers, y'all. And it gets so frustrating. I had one of my cousins, right? This happened years ago. One of my cousins in another state was a realtor back in another state. And she was going to help my other cousin sell his house, right? This is how close they are. At Thanksgiving, we all sit at the same Thanksgiving table with her mother, right? Her mother, my granny, my mama, my sister, my daddy, all of us. We're sitting at the same Thanksgiving table because we're cousins. So he had even stayed with her mother before, stayed in their house. She was going to help him sell his house. He wanted to know how much of a commission she was going to make from the sale. When she showed him the amount that she would make from the sale, you know what he did? Called a white man, called a stranger to sell his house and sold the house with the strange white man that he did not know, because he said, she's not about to make all that money off of me. And she said she would have split some of the money with him, even though you're not supposed to technically do that. But because they are cousins and because they're family, she would have, I guess she said she would have looked out for him. Y'all, this happens more often than people talk about. I remember speaking to another melanated woman. She's the broker in charge at another firm. She said that somebody in her family did that. I think it was her husband's cousin or someone went and used a whole different realtor because they didn't want to see her get a commission check. This is how you make your money, y'all. People think that realtors just make all this money just by doing nothing. And that's not the case. We do a lot of research behind the scenes. We are putting things together. Like I'm telling this lady, you have to, you get your inspection, you get your appraisal, you get your closing attorney. By the way, you pick out the closing attorney. Buyers don't know this. She's a first-time home buyer. She doesn't know that she qualifies. As a matter of fact, her home qualified for the program. She doesn't have to come up with any down payment assistance money. She was going to go with Rocket Mortgage. But because I referred the lender over to her that had all these different programs, this bitch is getting a fucking great ass deal. She wasn't going to get that with Rocket Mortgage. Not to speak against Rocket Mortgage, but the bitch didn't know what she was doing. This is why I advocate for my clients. Like I go hard for my clients. I remember some clients that closed with me a couple of years ago, and they were going to go with just a random lender that they saw online. And I asked them, I said, how did you find out about this lender? Oh, we just went online. I said, well, look, I sent them the reviews for the lender. I was like, I have a lender that I can recommend to you. So they went with my lender. Now let me tell you about the lender. You have to be careful with them too. This was a white lender. Not to say that that matters, but the reason I was using her is because my realtor had basically referenced her to me. And then later on, my realtor was like, be careful because she'll backstab you. So when she told me that, my ears opened up. So let me tell you what she did. She was getting them pre-approved for the house, right? So in the middle of the pre-approval process, my clients were looking at new construction. The reason that they were looking at new construction is because the price point for what they wanted, they would be better off getting new construction. And they would have to move 45 minutes out of the city, y'all. I ended up getting them they ended up getting an interest rate of like 5.5% or something like that. And that's when interest rates were going up to 6 and 7%. They got locked in for 6 months for this interest rate. So they were already in the process of like being under contract for this new construction development. We had already gone out, we looked at the house. They were already basically picking out their house and getting all this stuff done. The lender, because she's trying to make a quick closing instead of waiting for their house to get built, she goes behind my back and she's talking to them, trying to get them to get a pre-built home. You don't do that. And then she's trying to talk them into moving into another state, right? Because I'm on the borderline. So a lot of people are licensed in 2 states here. You don't do that. That's my job. You don't go behind my back and do that. So when she was doing that, I didn't appreciate it. And she told me the conversation she was having with them. She was like, yeah, because, I'm just trying to get a quick closing. And I told them they can go to, the state over here is just right across the border and all of this. I'm like, so are you the fucking lender? Or are you the realtor? Which one are you? All you need to do is get them pre-approved. Why are you jumping your freaking role? Let me tell you how loyal my clients were to me, okay? This speaks volumes about me. They were going to get a house in the other state, but it was going to be a new construction with basically Ryan Homes, okay? They were going to get a house built with Ryan Homes. Ryan Homes does not pay a commission to the realtor. They pay a realtor a fee, which is a flat fee. That's all you get. And by the time your brokerage or your firm takes out their fees and you pay whatever fees, you get this one flat fee. So I think it was like maybe $1,500. So when they read the contract, they were unaware of this. And you know what my client did? She called me. She said, yeah, we went out there. We looked at the house. We loved it. My husband and I were talking about it. She said, and I read the contract. She said, but you don't get a commission. She was like, and I believe in doing what's right because I have been working with them, right? She was like, and I'm sorry, I just believe in doing what's right. And let me talk this over with my husband. And I don't know how I feel about this because you're not going to get paid a commission. So I told her, I said, look, you do what's best for you and your family. I said, I know you're thinking about me. I said, but I want you to do what you're comfortable doing. because really they're the ones that have to live in this house, right? Not me. And it would be selfish of me to want them to move somewhere just because of my commission. They talked it over, and don't you know they canceled their contract and they moved to the place that I recommended them because they didn't want me not to get a commission. They didn't have to do that. So that's the difference between me getting that 1,500 uh commission check to me getting an $8,000 commission check. But granted, they have to take out the fees and everything like that or whatever. And several times I had to save that deal because they wanted to back out because it was like a 20-minute distance. She was going to move to another neighborhood, and it was a 20-minute distance in that section. So her husband and her daughter wanted to move further out, which is like 45 minutes away. She wanted to move where it was like 20 to 25 minutes outside of the city. And so what I did when they called me that day and they told me they were thinking about backing out, I told them, you're going to forfeit your down payment money, whatever you put down, you're going to forfeit that. And then you're going to have to come up with more money and you're going to have to qualify all over again. And she was willing to do it. So I said, you know what? Let's go look at this house that you want that's 20 minutes away. Let's look at that one. And then let's go look at your neighborhood. Let's go look at your house. So we did that. So we're standing out there, we're standing in the yard, we're standing at their house that's being built. And she was like asking me my opinion. What do you think? And I told her my honest opinion. I said, this neighborhood feels more like a neighborhood. I said, but the decision is ultimately up to you. They ended up continuing on with their process of getting their house built, y'all. But after they closed, the husband did call me and said that she was crying. This was like right after Christmas or before New Year's when they closed. And I was like, what's wrong? What is the problem? He was like, please don't let her know that I called you. But it was something that happened where when they were moving the appliances on the floor, the construction workers scraped up their hardwood flooring. So the day of closing, they were actually in there redoing their hardwood floor. And I guess they left sawdust on the floor and they didn't clean up the sawdust. I don't think she was really crying about that. I think she was crying because she might have had a little bit of buyer's remorse, y'all. I think that might have been the case, if I'm being honest. Um, I did call, I did check on them. They're doing fine. I do reach out to them from time to time. They're doing okay. Um, she even offered to go with me to one of my doctor's appointments, y'all. So that's what I'm saying. And I need to reach back out to all of my clients, just to say hi, just to let them know I'm thinking about them. But y'all, and then I got this note from one of the children today, and she's a fourth grader. And she was like, dear, such and such. She was like, you taught me so much. And she was like, I want to be just like you. And then she drew me a picture with a little heart and everything. And that was like during recess before, and she handed it to me during recess. And she said, this is for you. And then she came around me. She said, did you read it? And I was so irritated with what happened earlier with this damn bitch ass client. I said, not yet. I said, but I'm gonna read it in just a moment. So I opened it and read it. It did make me feel good. And I said, thank you so much for that, y'all. Yeah, she's sweet. And y'all, I told you I had got letters last week. So is it me? I don't think it's me. I don't think it's me. I think people are just fucked up in this world. I think they're just selfish and they don't care who they backstab. I just think sometimes people are just effed up. And this is what you go through. So, Lonesome Dove, when you talk about real estate, just make sure people are loyal. Make sure you get your paperwork put in place and make sure they sign the paperwork before you even do anything for them. That's all I can tell you, because I've worked with clients in the past where I didn't have them to sign anything until basically we were going under contract. But because I knew I had their loyalty, I wasn't worried about anything. But people are very fickle. People are very selfish. People are very backstabbing, conniving. They just un what is it? They just, I don't know. People are just effed up in this world. Real estate is very cutthroat. Business is cutthroat. Yeah, real estate is cutthroat. I remember I was on the channel one time. I was talking about another realtor that I actually looked out for. Basically, another homeless realtor. Okay. How are you a realtor and don't have a house? Not to say that, because homelessness is a real thing. How are you a realtor and you're evicted out of your apartment, right? Another realtor that didn't have a car. Another realtor that I basically invited him to. So the same neighborhood that I sold that house in, well, they reached out to me because they were having a realtor event. So I was trying to see what realtors in my office wanted to go, but they all were busy. So he said, I'll go. So I drive us there. We meet up with the realtors. We're having lunch. They're telling us that they're trying to come up with a tactic to sell the properties in the neighborhood, right? So we're all strategizing, and so they say, "Hey, why not host some open houses out here?" So we do that. We host open houses, and he and I had worked together, right? So here was the strategy. The strategy was this. We were going out, we're marketing, we're networking, we're door knocking, and I felt more safe and secure because I had someone to go with. I didn't want to go out there by myself. So the plan was whatever we get, we split half and half. If I get a buyer, we split half and half. If he gets a buyer, we're split half and half because we're doing this together. We're using my car, we're using my gas because he didn't have a car, right? Keep in mind, this neighborhood we're going to, 45 minutes away. I drive us there 3 times, different times. Okay. We're taking my car, my gas, my everything. He goes out there with me. We put this, he puts the signs up, right? It was raining. He puts the signs up. We go out there again because we have open houses on a Saturday, open houses on a Sunday. All of a sudden, he tells me that one of the ladies in the office calls him, right? She sends him an unrepresented buyer. And he was like, oh, such and such just sent me a buyer. He says me. He doesn't say us. He says just sent me a buyer. So I'm listening. So I'm thinking, okay, he's definitely going to like cut me in on this because we're doing this together, right? So I'm making shirts. I print shirts. He's telling me that he wants to get his t-shirt line going. I come up with a concept for him. I come up with the logo for him. I'm telling him, look, I sold a house out in this other neighborhood. They're having a fashion week event out there. It's $100 per table. I can get us a table. We can sell your shirts out there. He tells me, okay. Well, lo and behold, the event comes up. He tells me you can go to the event by yourself. I have to go meet with these buyers. That's what he tells me. So I thought that was a little shady. I was like, okay. I go out there. I'm at the event. I'm networking and stuff like that. I set up my stuff. So later on, he's telling me that he likes how my business, he would love to do business with me because he likes how business savvy I am. And my mother even heard him say this on the phone. We're going to split everything half and half. What you get, I get half. Whatever he gets, I get half. She heard this, right? So I'm working on his shirts, printing his shirts, ordered the shirts, did all that for him. He likes the shirts. He's bragging about these shirts, right? He had given some of the shirts to his client. Well, he did pay me for some, but these other shirts he hadn't paid me for yet. So we're doing all this stuff. So then all of a sudden, he has a meeting. He's at the office. So I'm thinking to myself, what did you say when we started working together? He repeated himself. Whatever you get, I get half. Whatever I get, you get half. That's what we're doing. So I'm like, okay. I said, so if that's the case, then where's my half? So I go into the office to talk to him because he sends me back a referral fee of 25%. Motherfucker, you said 50%. All right? That's not the same thing. So I go to his office when they're having the meeting or whatever, and I sit in the office because we're all in the same firm. We're just at different offices. This motherfucker pretends like he doesn't see me. So He's walking around the office, walking around the office. The females in there, they know me, right? Oh, I think you're doing such a great job on his shirts. They look so good. I'm like, thank you. So I told him, I said, can I have a word with you for a minute? So he's like, oh yeah, just a moment. So he goes walking around and he comes around. We go in the conference room. So I looked at the computer. I said, what is this? 25%. I said, yeah, but what did you say the deal was? 50%, right? You know what his words out of his mouth was to me? Oh, but you didn't do shit. His exact words to me, I didn't do shit. I said I didn't do shit, but I drove us down there. I drove us back and forth. I basically put you in position to get this deal. If had I said, would you have gotten this had I not invited you out here? He told me probably not. But he was like, you didn't go meet with the buyers. You don't even know their names. What are their names? Motherfucker, I don't know their names because you didn't invite me to go meet with them. You stupid ass bitch. Now I see why he was going through what the fuck he was going through. So on top of that, um, he was like trying to go back and forth with me about it. And, he was like, well, call your broker in charge and tell your broker in charge about it. So I let my broker in charge know what was going on. So she told me, she said, you know what? I'm really good friends with his broker in charge. So I'm going to have a talk with his broker in charge and see if we can get what's good, King Hazy. Just talking about these fake ass people in this world. We'll see if we can get him to raise your commission to at least 35%. So me and my what I should have done, I should have made him on the spot go change it to 50%. But you know what? He didn't want to do that. So the broker in charge tried to have a talk with him. My broker in charge calls me back and was like, over the weekend, they talked. He didn't want to change it. I'm so sorry this happened to you. From now on, make sure you put everything in writing. Make sure you send all the so the referral stayed at 25%, y'all. After everything that I had done, it stayed just like it was 25%, even though he owed me 50%. This bitch ass bastard was bragging, talking about, oh, I'm about to get a $20,000 check, like all about him, me, him. I'm like, so I said, you're about to get a $20,000 check. So basically, we both could have got $10,000 together, right? But he didn't see it that way. So out of that percentage, I think I ended up getting 5,000 and he got 15, something to that effect. If my math is correct, y'all. Um, no, what's 25% of 20, y'all? Whatever it was, that's what it was, y'all. But yeah, people are real effed up in this world. And so after that, it was some more stuff that went on behind the scenes with this bitch ass ninja, to the point where I ended up calling the police because he was getting people to call my phone. Um, he didn't have an address. So he was asking if he could have these packages delivered to my house. And I was like, that shouldn't be a problem. Well, lo and behold, he tells me that he's working for some type of packaging company and they wanted his bank account information. And they were going to pay him like $1,000 per every 2 weeks or $2,000 every week. Or he was trying to tell me about it. And I was like, are you sure that's legitimate? I said, you might not want to be giving these people your checking information because that sounds like fraudulent behavior. So with all these packages that were coming, they had different people's names written on it. And I'm like, this doesn't seem legitimate at all. So he tells me that he needs these packages. Bitch ass motherfucker, you not getting a motherfucking thing from this address now that you ripped me out of my money. So I told him I didn't have any packages. So he sends me a screenshot, I guess, of the delivery that it came to my address or whatever. So I didn't care. I stopped answering, any of his text messages. And I basically told him, whatever I told him, it was just like, leave me alone because I didn't have anything else to say to him. So don't you know? I went to this realtor event, right, for DR Horton. They were doing like a casino night for the realtors and they were giving out cash prizes and stuff. I'm at casino night for the realtors. This bitch says that he's going to call, no, he says that he's going to show up to my house and he's going to have the police with him. Bitch, do not play with me. Talking about he going to show up to the house with the police? Go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it so I can report how you're driving on a suspended driver's license and you're not even supposed to be driving. Basically, he was dealing with DUI charges. He had to go back and forth to see whatever alcoholic thing that he had to complete. He had to go through that every single evening. I'm like, so you got more problems than what it's worth. And really, you're supposed to report that to the real estate commission. You can lose your license for stuff like that, not reporting the stuff when you're dealing with these things. You are supposed to report that stuff and you can get your license revoked. Don't you know this bitch ass bastard had the nerve to tell me if he calls the police on me and all of this stuff and he can have my license in jeopardy, my real estate license? No, the fuck you can't, bitch. Because I don't have a criminal record. He was the one that had to go in front of the real estate commission board for writing fraudulent checks, y'all. I didn't know this until later. He was, because anytime you go get a license for real estate and they do a background check on you. If you have anything on your background, they can deny your real estate license. He had to go in front of the real estate commission and plead his case so they would allow him to get a real estate license. Shady ass people. Shady ass people. I call him the janky realtor. The janky realtor. So he's like a used car salesman, y'all. You know, but people like that, it's just like they have um no conscience. No conscience whatsoever. It's just the stuff that people go through. So King Hazy, I'm just talking about the backstory of real estate, the things that people don't talk about, y'all. You know, those have been several experiences that I've gone through. Um, and last year there was something else that went on, and it's just one thing after another, and it's like, why? Why do people do this? We don't know. We don't know, but people come on and they paint these fancy pictures. They don't tell people the truth of what goes on. Realtors are very conniving, very shady, very backstabbing. You cannot trust them. I remember when I was going to real estate school, I used to hear the stories and I'm like, I don't want to be in that situation. Oh, it's going to happen. Things that you would never imagine, that you never think of. The thing that you don't think is going to happen, it's going to happen. That's just the nature of people, life in general. You said no criminal record for real estate license. So you can have a criminal record, right? He said something did just happen, King Hazy. Something just happened today, but you didn't hear the story about it, and I don't want to go back into it. Um, I was just giving another story, but yes, you can have a criminal record to get a real estate license, but they do a background check. And if they feel that they don't want to give you the license, they can deny giving you a license. You can come in front of the real estate board and plead your case. And you have to convince them why you think they should allow you to have a real estate license. Because he was basically having, I guess, he had a background for writing fraudulent checks. I didn't know this until after the fact. So yeah, you gotta be careful with that. But anytime you're dealing with, because they ask you every single year, you have to renew your license every year. You have to pay a fee, and they're gonna ask you certain questions. Has anything changed on your criminal history? You have to answer those questions. Because you're working with the public. You're working with basically integrity, right? So you don't want to have people out here selling houses. You're dealing with real estate transactions. You don't want the public being exposed to people with criminal mindsets out here. So really, that's the real estate commission's way of trying to protect the public, y'all. Yeah, but that's just, that's some of what I was going through. And I just feel just so sickened at the fact that people use you to their benefit. And not to mention that, why would you ruin a relationship with me knowing all of the good, knowing all of the assets that I bring that come with me, with, my knowledge of helping him launch his t-shirt line, right? One of the other realtors that works in that community that we sold those houses in, she was like, she saw his shirt that I designed for him. She was like, "Oh, I want one," because he posted it on his Facebook page. I took pictures for him, with the shirt and everything. I was like, I know how to market, I know how to do certain things. But after that, oh, and I sent him the invoice for the shirts. Oh, and I said, "You didn't pay me for those shirts." So he sends me the invoice for the shirts, right? Exactly. Why burn a bridge with you, especially? I don't know. That's what I couldn't figure out when I came with so much good qualities that come with working with me as a business person. Like, you would have gotten more out of me just giving me the 50% instead of burning a bridge. We could have made even more money together because I come with blessings. I come with blessings. But you know what? He was looking out for himself because he was like, "Oh, because I need a car." Because at the time, he was actually borrowing his aunt's car. And his aunt, I don't know, she might have asked him for the car back. So he was asking for his cousin's car, and the cousin was trying to charge him because the cousin was doing DoorDash. I don't know, it was some janky stuff going on, y'all. You're a good teacher. I'm learning a lot of valuable information and knowledge from you. Yeah, but nobody wants to go through this stuff, y'all. And so then I was telling my I was telling my mentor about it. And I just felt like somebody stabbed me in the chest. Honestly, that's how I was feeling, like somebody had stabbed me in the freaking chest. He told me, he was like, "Why don't you call your sister and ask your sister's opinion about what she thinks about it?" My sister was like, "I don't know you." She said, "And I'm not taking up for my sister. But if y'all had an agreement in place, then you owe her 50% because that's what y'all agreed to." That's what everybody said. He was like cutting her off. And I guess he had been drinking. He sounded like he was drunk on the phone. So this the middle of the day. And she said, "Look, you're not going to," she basically almost cussed him out on the phone. She was like, "I'm not taking up for my sister." And she's like, I don't like the way you coming off talking to me." She put him in his damn place, y'all. And she got off the phone with him, with his dumb ass. And I saw that he was still trying to follow my TikTok page and everything. I don't know, but I think I tried to like hide my page from him because we were still friends on like social media and stuff. But, and it's just so irritating that people just, they're just so, I don't even know what the word is for it. Um, Desperate. Desperate, y'all. Desperate. Just desperate. But it's okay. I'm going to still be blessed regardless. I'm still going to work on what I have going on regardless. But people are very conniving out here. Very conniving. Selfish and desperate. Yes, Lonesome Dove, they are. And I guess he was like, "Oh, because you know what I got going on and you're trying to use that over my head." No, ain't nobody trying to use that over your head. I'm trying to follow the agreement that we set forth in place. It's not my fault that you got evicted from your apartment and you had a key and trying to sneak back into the apartment at night. That's not my fault that you're a grown man, a grown person, and you don't have transportation and you're a realtor. That is not my fault. But did I ever try to throw that in his face? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Don't let it stop you from being a great person. You the shits. It's so hard. I mean, like, I don't have the heart to do this to people, y'all. The stuff that they do, I don't have the heart to do the stuff that people do to me. I just don't have it in me because karma is real. And when I don't even try to do stuff to people, stuff happens to me anyway. So I would be scared to go out here and be vicious to people because even if I were to do that, I could imagine what would happen to me because things happen to me and I don't even be trying, right? I don't even try for bad stuff to happen and it just happens to me for no reason. And sometimes I'm like, so is the universe trying to punish me? Am I being punished by the universe? What did I do? What did I do in my past life to deserve this, y'all? What did I freaking do to people? I don't know. I don't know. I just don't even know anymore. I was talking to my friend in Dallas because she's going through it. Like, her principal said that she was going to let her leave and go to another school because she's being targeted and tormented by the women at the school, right? So the principal called her and said, "Yes, I'm going to release you." Called her back when she returned to school on Wednesday and said, "Oh, I'm not going to be able to release you. You're going to have to wait until April and apply for positions because I can't do that." I was like, this bitch knew she wasn't going to release you anyway. Why would she call you on a Friday night after school hours and talk to you on the phone from 8 to 9 p.m. at night about releasing you? And I just want to see how you're doing. And I'm going to put in a release for you. And you've been a great, person while you've been working here. And I'd hate to lose you. And I just want to see how you're feeling. These bitches be playing games, y'all. Excuse me for using all the profanity. It's people and spirits that are after us. I know I'm under spiritual attack. I know this for a fact, and I've been under spiritual attack for many years. And some of it comes from people that are very related to me, you all, and this has been confirmed. And you'll be, if I told you who it was, y'all would be surprised. It's sad that you can't even deal with your own family and relatives. It is spirits out here that are after us. And that's why I fight so hard. That's why I talk about this stuff. Because it's not even a game. This is not even made up stuff. This is reality. This is reality. It's reality. And they attack in ways you would never even imagine when you don't deserve it. There are monitoring spirits. That's why certain things I don't really speak on and talk about, because I know people watch. They talk about the evil eye. That stuff is real. He said, I wouldn't be surprised I got my family doing witchcraft on me too. Yes, it's a real thing. Sometimes it be the closest ones. Yes. That's why when anything comes that's like going good for me, I don't even speak on it too much. I don't even talk about it. I don't go into detail because I don't want any energy messing it up. People will say and speak things over your situation and they might not mean to do it. Even people that you feel are your friends, don't tell them anything that's going good for you until after it's done. That's why a lot of times, these realtors, they'll come on they'll come on their pages and they'll be like, "Oh, we're under contract. Oh, we're pending." I don't put any of that on my page. I don't post that because anything could happen to make that deal fall apart. People come on and they announce their pregnancies. You said, are all true Christians are covered by the blood of Jesus? I'm not a Christian. I don't claim Christianity, and I don't claim being covered by the blood of Jesus. I'm sorry, I don't believe in that. So, no. No. Mm-mm. The blood of Jesus, what is that? I've talked about that on this channel already. And please don't I don't like when so-called Christians try to come on and they try to push their religious agenda on other people. I don't like that. I don't subscribe to that. People have a right to free will. They have a right to believe in what they want. They have a right to believe in whatever they feel their spirituality is. And that's the thing that gets me with people. They always want to push that on people. Oh, you don't believe in Jesus, or you need to believe in Jesus, or you need to be a Christian. Well, you know what? What about Muslims? What about people that have other spiritual practices? Are you saying that because they don't believe in your religion, that this is, the only true religion? I don't believe that it's only one true religion. No. I do not do religion. It spells as well. It is. It is. And I'm tired of people always trying to make people seem like they have to be, a Christian. If you don't want to be a Christian, you don't have to be. And if you want to unsubscribe, please unfollow me, because I'm just not going back and forth about it, y'all. I believe in being a good-hearted person in this world. I believe in treating people how you want to be treated. And you know if you're being good to a person or not. You know if you're being evil or not. You already know this innately. So you don't need a Bible to tell you not to go out here and be mean and evil to people. You don't need a Bible to tell you that. I believe and love the Most High, but I am not religious. And that's fine, Lonesome Dove. Whatever it is for you. I'm not here to judge people for their beliefs, but I don't superimpose anything on anybody, and that's one thing that gets me about these Christian people. They always, are trying to preach religion, but they are the biggest hypocrites when it comes to how they treat other people. They're the biggest ones hating on you. They're the biggest ones judging you, talking about, oh, they don't associate with you because you don't believe in X, Y, and Z. Well, that's still judgment. That's still judging. That's what that is. They're still judging you. And what does the Bible say about judging? They're not even following their own Bible. Don't even get me started. Because people are the biggest hypocrites in this world when they say that they're Christians and they go to church and they believe in Jesus and Jesus and all this stuff. Stop it. No, you don't. Because if you did, you would walk in that. You wouldn't just talk about it. You would actually show that in your acts and in your heart. People get me with that mess. No, no, and no, and no. I'm tired of it. And stop saying that, oh, well, the reason why this is happening is because you don't believe. Because I remember somebody told my friend that, oh yeah, that's going on because you don't believe. That's not why stuff happens to people. What about people that, believe in it so wholeheartedly and bad stuff still happens to them? Can anybody explain that? Can anybody explain why innocent babies are born into this world with diseases and some of the innocent babies don't make it in the world? They don't make it past infancy. Is it because they didn't believe? People can't explain that stuff, so stop it. I'm tired of it. It's the hypocrisy in it all. It's like they are religious when they want to be religious, but when it's time to show and walk in that, they don't. They don't. And I don't care who likes it and who don't, because that's the real truth about it. Y'all, religion can really cause hysteria in people's life, because you can sit up there and think you can be a good person. You said, right. I'm so sorry, King Hazy. Your son died at 4 months old. That's what I'm saying. People can't tell you why do these innocent babies die. Nobody can explain that. Nobody can tell you. Is it because the innocent baby didn't believe in Jesus? Is it because that innocent baby wasn't baptized at 4 months old? Is it because that innocent baby was not a Christian? Come on now. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't. And they're talking about, oh, people are born in sin and out of wedlock and all of this stuff. Y'all, what is marriage? Let's talk about that. What is marriage? Who came up with the concept of marriage? Who came up with all this stuff? Because in the United States, you know what marriage is? It's a legally binding unit with the courts involved. And when you get a divorce, guess what you have to do? You have to go through a judge and a court system to talk about how they can divvy up your assets. Because people that really come together in real spirituality, you don't need a white judge telling you how to become one as a union. Marriage is giving your relationship to the government. Thank you. And people don't understand that. That's why they be like, it's cheaper to keep her. Because now what you have done, you have allowed the government to get involved in your personal affairs. And then they have, a right to say what you do with your children, your own genetic material, your own DNA that you have procreated in this world. Now you got a third party judge telling you when you can try to see your children and what to do with your children. Y'all believe in that? I don't. I don't believe in a lot of this nonsense. You said marriage is intercourse? Well, then, if that's the case, a lot of people are married to a lot of different people in this world, y'all. Because people don't value their bodies. People don't treat their body as a temple anymore. People passing themselves out all around this globe, left and right. And that's exactly what they're doing. So everybody is practicing polygamy if that's the case. Everybody is sharing a wife and a husband if that's the case. I'm telling you, these Christians, this religious stuff, biggest hypocrites, y'all. Biggest. Because they pick and choose. They pick and choose what they want to believe in the Bible, y'all. They pick and choose. You say, calm down, though, be cool. I'm good. I'm passionate, y'all. I'm just passionate. People mistake passion for anger. I'm just irritated, but I'm passionate and I'm frustrated. I'm not like mad and upset. I'm just irritated. My phone needs to be charged, y'all. I didn't even think I was going to come on this live stream. But yeah, I came on this live stream. And I'm tired of people being so hypersensitive about everything. You can't tell the truth because when you tell the truth, people get mad. I don't care. Their spirits are intertwined and shared when sleeping around. They don't care. That's why the world is messed up today, because of intertwined spirits. All this stuff about people having these psychological issues, y'all, I feel like that's a crutch. I feel like today, your body is a temple. They don't see it that way. If they thought of it that way, then they would treat it that way. You said, all right, I just don't want nothing fucking with you too much. I don't want people and entities messing with me either. But you know what? We're going to always have these entities amongst us. We're going to always have it. You just got to know that some type of way, some of us are divinely protected. And that's why people are mad. Because even through your darkest days and your biggest challenges, they can't understand how you are still standing and still strong and still overcoming and still surviving and out here fighting. When I talk about people being spiritual warriors, I don't just say that for no reason. I say that because I do understand that some of us that walk amongst this globe are warriors. We did not choose this walk, it was placed upon us. That's the difference. A lot of people can talk the talk, but they cannot walk the walk, and they cannot live in these spiritual shoes. They say heavy is the head of the one that wears the crown. A lot of people would not be able to survive going through a lot of things that a lot of people have gone through, y'all. They would not be able to survive. People resort to drugs, drinking, all types of, you know, behavior that can destroy themselves because they cannot handle life. That's why a lot of people stay high. That's why a lot of people get high all the time because they can't handle real life. I changed my name, and my new name means under divine protection. Divine protection, Divine protection. That's good, King Hazy. That's good. I do believe that words are powerful. And in the Bible, it never mentioned using the blood of Jesus or Jesus to heal anyone. It was all spells or verbal vibrations or something like that, because they don't want us to tap into our true powers and understand the magic is within us. That's one thing. They want us to go outside of ourselves and think that we are not made in the image of our divine creator. If we're made in the image of our divine creator, that means we're divine. That's why I say walk in your divinity. You said LOL, you caught me my spelling error. It's okay. I'm an English major, so that just like it's second nature to me. But yeah, they don't want us tapping into who we really are. They don't want us going within. That's why everything tells us to go outside of ourselves. In school, we're taught to do what? Go outside of ourselves, compete with everybody else, be the top of your class, not work in unity as a group, y'all. The Bible said, power of the tongue, power is in the tongue. Power is in the tongue. That's why I said, be careful with people, what you share with them. Don't let people speak over your life. Don't let them speak negativity over you. And fasting and meditation and prayer. I feel like I'm fasting right now because I'm actually hungry, y'all. Meditation is difficult for some people, and prayer definitely does work. Prayer does work. Just believe that prayer does work. But you know what? People don't talk about when you pray, when you ask, when you do all these things, and the universe still says no. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about that. When you ask, when you pray, when you command, when you do all these things, and the universe it still tells you no. Nobody talks about that part. Nobody speaks on that. You see, and that's why we got to be real careful telling people stuff. You know what I mean? Because people don't want to talk about the truth. I know people have prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for stuff and still don't have it, still didn't get it. What is that? Is that the universe telling you no? What is that? So, and I feel like sometimes you just got to be diligent and force your way into what you want in life. Why am I up so late? You need to go cook a late night snack. You seem aggravated. I am aggravated, King. I was telling my story earlier, and that's and that's what has aggravated me. Okay. That's what has aggravated me. I really don't want to get back into it because I'm going to get upset all over again, y'all. So I don't want to talk about it again. But if you go back, you'll hear the story. All right. Just know that when you're dealing with real estate and when you're dealing with business and you're dealing with clients and people and other realtors, um, it's just a madhouse out here. It are vultures and demons. It's because other dark spirits. Yeah, it's a lot of dark spirits. And I actually know that dark spirits have surrounded me, and I have been in the lion's den. I have been to the point where I didn't know if I was going to be here. It's being put on someone like voodoo, yes. And actually, when you have a divine light within you, it is their job to try to um, destroy you. And this can start from birth. This can start from birth, y'all. This can start from birth. People don't understand how deep this goes. This can start from birth. You can be born into this. You can actually, because people don't know that they have past lives. People have past lives. And so sometimes you come back in this life in a different form to finish unfinished business in this lifetime. And a lot of these things that we're fighting today in this life, it's not from what we did in this lifetime. It's from a different lifetime, y'all. And we have to settle it. Yeah. And sometimes, you know how you know when you're real powerful? When you look at yourself in the mirror and stare yourself in the eyes. Look at what you see when you look in your eyes. Y'all, I've looked myself in the eyes so many times and I scare myself. That's how I know I'm powerful. I have scared myself. I had to stop looking at my own self in the mirror. I'm like, that's scary. That's scary. Your eyes are the windows to your soul, y'all. You feel like you see something ancient. That's because we are ancient beings. That's because we are ancient beings, y'all. This is not our first time here. I am an old spirit. This has already been confirmed to me by several spiritualists. And I didn't understand this until a few years ago. I didn't understand, y'all, all of this until a few years ago, why certain things were occurring in my life. And then it started making sense. Like when you meet certain people in your earthly realm, why they seem so familiar to you, why you seem drawn to certain people. These are people that you have met in a past lifetime. And these individuals will come back to destroy you in this lifetime. Yes, because of things that happened in another lifetime. That's how deep it gets, y'all. And a lot of times, we don't know that we're being watched by certain spirits too. We're being watched. Mm-hmm. I know I'm being watched. And at this point, I don't even care anymore. I don't even care anymore. You just got to get to that point where you don't even care anymore. Yeah, it's craziness, y'all. It's insane. So this world is not what we think it is. These bodies that we have, this flesh that we live in, this is not even who we are. This is just our, our outer shell that holds our spirits, because we have to be here in the earthly realm. And so in order for us to exist in this 3D realm, we have to be here physically. But y'all, I've heard people say, one of my friends told me that he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He was like, if they come for him, he's ready to leave. He said he'll go. I've had two people tell me that they will leave. They will leave. And she told me, she said, I know this is not my home. I come, like, we came from somewhere else. We just came here. We're on a mission, y'all. Some of us are on a mission. We're not all NPCs. Some of us came here on a mission, and this is why we go through so much, because they're watching and they don't want us to accomplish these missions that we have set forth. You said, I have cats so that I won't feel so lonely spiritually because they make me feel safe. I didn't know you had cats. Cats are spiritual beings. Cats don't resonate with everybody either. That's why when cats start acting erratic around certain people, pay attention. to your cat's behavior, because your cats are telling you about these people's energy and about these spirits that are around you. Okay? Dogs will do the same thing. Animals are very aware. Babies are the same way. Children are the same way. Children recognize energy. This is what I do know because I have children just like today. I was walking to the car, school was over. One little boy was standing in the pickup line as I walk into the car, got out of the line, came up to me so he could give me a hug as I'm walking to the car. I said, "Oh, thank you, sweetheart." Now, I don't know if he remembered me from another time because I've been at the school before, but I'm telling you, children wave at me, speaking to me. Energy doesn't lie. Okay. And like I said, when I was at that woman's house and she wouldn't look me in my face, something told me in the back of my mind, that's for a reason. She can't stare me in my eyes for a reason. Okay. When people can't look you in your eyes, it's for a reason. Thank you. I know I am. And other people know that too. But, they'll try to convince you that is you. Like, I had to tell my friend from Dallas, it's not you. It's not you because she was second guessing herself. She was second guessing herself. What is it about me? Why do they treat me this way? I said, it's not you. Stop having these people to gaslight you out here. I remember many years of my life when I was in high school, I used to wonder y'all, why do these why do these females treat me this way? Why do they act like they don't like me? Why do they act like, I'm just different and stuff like that? They just had attitudes and stuff when they come around me. One minute they cool with me, the next minute they're not. I didn't understand. A lot of people don't want you to understand your power. They don't want you to understand that you're rare and special and unique, right? They are intimidated by you. And that's just the truth. And I had to tell my friend that. I tell her this all the time. So, yeah, you're going to go through it the most because you're not like everybody else. Y'all got to get the charger. We're not meant to be like everybody else, right? I'm glad I'm not like everybody else because everybody else act like they don't have a brain to think for themselves. They don't think outside the box. Yeah, and they have a problem with you because you think outside the box. They have a problem with stuff like that. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't. And you got to get to the point where you don't care. You got to get to that point. Yeah, I have very little patience for ignorance. I really do. If people express like ignorance around me, automatically I disassociate myself. I don't care who they are, teachers, staff, anybody, parents. Don't come around me with it. Don't. Because I don't have the patience for it. Silliness and folly, I can't tolerate it, y'all. I don't have the patience and I'm not going to deal with it. Yep, but that's just my little thoughts. It's 3:18 a.m., y'all. I can't believe I'm up this late. I'm trying to think about what I can eat. I got some sweet potato fries in there. I might heat up some sweet potato fries. I got some sweet potatoes in there too. I really wanted to get that jackfruit, that pulled pork jackfruit recipe, but they were closed by the time that I thought about it. I feel you. Surround yourself with like-minded. It's not a lot of like-minded people that think like me either, but you're right. And it's difficult to actually be surrounded by people that you can vibe with because of the fact of the uniqueness and the fact of how I think. I really don't go into depth about how I think about a lot of things because I don't have time for the nonsense of hearing what people have to say to me. I really don't. I get very irritated really quickly when people start talking to me from a point of view that has been indoctrinated into their brains. Yeah, and I shut the conversation off real quickly because I can't talk to people like that. And I refuse to basically bombard myself with nonsense, y'all. I just don't have time to go backwards. I've come too far to go forward, right? Because we're supposed to be elevating, not declining. And it's a lot of people that are on a downward slope to nowhere, headed nowhere fast, y'all. Like people be driving out here, headed nowhere fast. Y'all are driving and speeding like you're on a racetrack, headed nowhere fast. Like, what's the point in that? It's ironic because I woke up just before you were live, kind of want a grilled cheese and potato soup. Oh my goodness. Grilled cheese sounds so good. Oh, that sounds good, but I got to stay away from that cheese and that bread because that's dairy and bread, man. But ooh, I like some grilled cheese though. That sounds so good. Are you going to fix that right now? Let me see. I got strawberries. Mm, I got some strawberries in there. I got some apples in there because, I'm really trying to be on my health healing journey and it's not easy. I started talking about strawberries and apples. You talking about a cheese grilled sandwich, a grilled cheese sandwich. That does sound good though. Yeah, stay away from them hot dogs. Stay away from them hot dogs and those sausages and those barbecue ribs. I'll probably wait till lunch to make that. I might just eat something light. Technically, we probably should eat something light because it's so late, but honestly, I could go for a real meal. Like I could go for some Waffle House or something. Do y'all remember back in the day, just like leaving out the house and y'all go to like Waffle House randomly or go to like, we used to go to the Sheets. I don't think y'all have Sheets. We would go to Sheets or Wawa. Y'all probably don't have that. And we would go late night because, you know, they would be open and we'll put our order in. Yeah, man. You said, I'm making spaghetti shrimp pasta. You want some? It sounds good. Oh, it sounds good. Oh, y'all, but my diet is so funny. Yeah, I do. Um, the spaghetti noodles need to be gluten free. Look, and like if you have spinach noodles, I just heard about zucchini noodles, but not those white noodles, not the stuff that's made of that white pasta. And then I'm trying to stay away from scavengers of the sea. So the shrimp, I can't do it. And the spaghetti, I don't know if you're using like beef in it, but I would need something in place of that. So it's just this diet stuff, y'all. Oh, it's not easy. I can't I can't go back to the things I used to partake in. Oh, mm, 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 mm. And all the things that like you like, it's like you have to stay away from it or find like a substitute alternative. And it takes a lot of preparation and dedication and hard work. It takes a lot of energy. Spaghetti with veggie meatballs is good. Oh, that sounds good. Veggie meatballs. I've never had veggie meatballs before. I used to make meatballs back when I used to eat meat, and they were pretty good. But how do you make veggie meatballs? That's my question. What are you using for are you using chickpeas for that? I never thought about that. Maybe chickpeas to make the meatballs? I make, you know what, one day, maybe when I do a video, I will show you some of my veggie dishes that I make or vegan dishes that I make. I use chickpeas for one of my dishes and it's pretty good. It's something that I created myself. I came up with and I made it for, a few people and they liked it. My mother liked it. Um, what else? What else? What else? I'm trying to think what else did I make, y'all. Yeah, I did like a stir fry that was really good. Or lentils. Okay, yeah, I eat lentils. Yeah, I got some lentils in there. It's just the preparation of it all, y'all. I don't be feeling like dealing with all that. It takes a lot of patience, time, effort, and energy, but it's worth it. It's worth it, y'all. Chickpeas is what mostly used. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to try that one day. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds so good. Spaghetti with vegan meatballs. Yummy to my tummy. I need it. I gotta have it. Oh, you know how long it's been since I've had some like spaghetti? Mm, 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 mm. I like veggie burgers too, but now that I'm trying to go without bread, I have to use like spinach wraps instead. And I hope those children are not getting me sick, y'all. I hope, because they were coughing and sneezing, and they were like, "Oh, I got a sore throat." And I don't have time for it. I really don't, y'all. I don't deserve this. I don't. I'm about to go spray some colloidal silver in the back of my throat. Something told me to spray my throat before I left earlier. Oh, you got a sore throat. SORE. You got a sore throat. Okay. You got a sore throat. I hope it feels better. One of the girls was saying that she had a sore throat. And my sister said my nephew had a sore throat. Yeah, I hope not. Get that colloidal silver spray and spray that throat. Get some lemon. Yeah, get some lemon. And you can actually, it's gonna be better, but suck on the lemon. Put it in your water, put it in your tea. Put some honey, some lemon, what else? Ginger in your tea, and try that. You said you don't have a sore throat? I thought you said you had one. Do you have a sore throat or not? Now you're going to hit the heart button. Thank you. Sore throat, SORE. Okay. Soar means like you're soaring in the sky. SOAR. Y'all know I can't help it. I was kind of laughing at imagining the kids saying, "I got a sore throat." Yeah, it was a girl that wrote me the note. She said she had a sore throat. She wanted to go to the nurse. And I was like, I need you to do your work because they do anything to get out of class, y'all. And I said, if you had a sore throat, you should have stayed home. Well, my mom sent me to school anyway. She wasn't going to let me stay at home. And that's what I hate. Parents stop sending the children to school with these sore throats and coughs and stuff and sneezing and all this sniffling because it's just causing issues for the school. Yeah, but I'm trying to calm down, y'all. I'm still aggravated. I really am. I'm going to try to do something to make myself feel better. Um, I think I'm trying, I think if I have time tomorrow in the energy, because I have an open house this Sunday. I'm gonna do a live stream for y'all with the open house. It's a beautiful open house. You're gonna love this house. It's really nice. Um, Maybe I'll work on my clothing brand tomorrow and print some stuff because I have a new machine that I haven't opened. I've had it in here for about almost a year now. Haven't opened the box yet. Yeah, that's the problem. Kids going to school sick and not staying home and letting the virus die off. Yep. It's true. They do this because they want the child in school. And my friend, she just bought a sewing machine, y'all. So she's got these ideas on these jackets that she's going to make with the patches. She's so creative and she's very fashionable and she's really good with home decor. So I want her. You said that's cool how you do side hustles. Yeah, thank you. Um, I try, Lonesome Dove, because the creator gave us many different gifts and talents and we got to tap into our abilities, but there are always people that's just hating on what you do. um yeah, but my friend bought a sewing machine and she has the channel. She came on here before. I told her she has to post. She's not posting. She's scared to go live. She's scared about people. F these people. Like I said, F them clients. F those children. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do for you. Shoot. Go live. She's scared that the school's going to be able to see her profile. I'm like, what do you mean? Isn't YouTube connected to Facebook and Instagram? No, it's not. Like, no. You think I care anymore? I don't care. If they pull up my profile, I didn't tell you to dig for my channel. So how the F did you know that I was Brown Girls Are Beautiful? If you don't like what I'm talking about, then who told you to come over here? That's how I feel at this point because I'm telling the truth. It's like realtors need to, because we don't need idle time, not too much. Mm. Nope, the idle time is the devil's playground, y'all. Idle time is the devil's playground. They like, so if you basically sitting there and you're doing nothing, the devil will creep its way into your mind and find something destructive for you to do. Even if it's doubt, negative self-talk, doubting yourself, not pursuing your goals, all that type of stuff. We people in general, it's a lot of gossip channels out here that all they do is sit around and gossip about other people's affairs all day, every day. Talk about what other people are doing instead of honing in on themselves, tapping into their own energy. They're focused on everything outside of themselves. That's a big thing. That's a problem within the melanated community. That's why we don't get anywhere as a whole today, because they're so fixated on everyone else's affairs. Did y'all hear about that Dallas Cowboy 24-year-old guy that transitioned and passed away? I heard that allegedly he committed suicide. And people are saying, my mother said, and my friend said they don't think it's true. They don't think that he did this to himself. Y'all, there's so much going on in this world. So much going on in this world. Anyway, I've been on here for quite a while. For 95 minutes, so that's an hour and a half. I think I'm going to sign off now. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You said you heard that? Yeah. You said don't go. I really wasn't going to go. I'm hungry. I am so freaking... I need to go in here and see what I can eat. What can I eat? What can I eat? Y'all, I don't even know what I'm going to eat. There's some oatmeal in there. I don't have a taste for no oatmeal, y'all. He said it hasn't been 2 hours yet. It's been an hour and a half, though. It's been an hour and a half. Yes, I have oatmeal. I put raisins in my oatmeal. Oh, I love pancakes. I do have pancakes in there. Even with the gluten-free pancakes, it still contains a lot of stuff that's probably not healthy because it's dealing with flour. You said restart the stream? Okay. I might restart the stream then. Okay, Lonesome Dove. Okay, so this is what I might do. I'm not promising anything because we're going on 3:30 now, my time. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to see what I have to eat. And my tummy's so hungry, y'all. If I feel up to it and if I have something more to talk about, I will restart the stream. You said we will cook pancakes together. Oh, not my mama pancakes, not my mama biscuits, Gina. I need my mama's pancakes right now, y'all. I need them. That's like the number one thing. She knows every time. That's how you get me, is fix those pancakes. You said you're hungry too. Let's talk real estate. I already talked about real estate. I'm very irritated right now. That's just something that's triggering me right now. I can't talk about it anymore, okay? I can't. I can't talk about it right now. Actually, I need to get my mind off of real estate. That's how frustrated I am. I just can't. Yeah, because it's like a freaking, what do I want to say? I was gonna say a wounded heel, but that's not what I meant. It's like a wound, a wounded sore, and I don't need to rekindle that. You said talk the spiritual realm. I talked about it. I'm being attacked spiritually. You can't see this right now. The situation that I just told y'all about, all these things that keep falling apart for me, that's spiritual attack. I know that's what it is. I know that for a fact. But yet I still sit here and thrive and survive, y'all. And let's not even get into the fact that the IRS just sent me a letter talking about I owe them because I made some real estate transactions back in 2021. Why are y'all still after me about this? You're not getting your money. I'm just telling y'all right now, you're not getting your money. So stop sending me letters. That's another thing. Life history of us. I love that. What else? Yeah, I mean, people just, I don't know. Some people go through it, some people don't. But you know what? These SNAP benefits, I heard that Donald Trump was ordered by the judge to pay the SNAP benefits, but he's saying that he's not going to pay the SNAP benefits. Not that it's funny, but he's doing what he wants to do, y'all. That's what I'm laughing at. So I heard that the contingency funds are what he's supposed to use to pay the SNAP benefits, and he refuses to do it. What are your thoughts on that? Definitely don't depend on this government. I'll tell you that. Don't ever depend on anybody to provide for you, ever, ever. Yeah, I gotta put this phone on the charger. Hold on, because I don't want the phone to die. So I'm gonna sit you here. I'm going to turn. Hold on. I'm gonna turn the video off for a second. So technically, you still can hear me. You just cannot see me. Okay. You can hear me, but you can't see me. I'm still here. But I got to put my phone on the charger. So hold on for a second while I find this charger. It's somewhere in here. I just got to find out what I did with it. Okay, I see. Got to see what I'm looking for, y'all. You said you almost forgot about the SNAP situation? Oh, yeah. Um, that's still going on. And the air traffic controllers, they're still not getting paid either. I think they stopped showing up for work, y'all. That's what happened. So now a lot of the flights are being delayed. Can you blame them? Because if I had a job and I'm not getting paid for it, I wouldn't show up for it either. Like, you're not going to insult me like that. That's crazy. I feel like there are essential workers and they should be paid. I also feel like police should be paid. Not saying that I agree with all police officers and what they do, because you shouldn't be going around here taking people's lives because that's what they feel like they can do. But for the ones that are actually out here doing their jobs, I believe that they should still get paid. It's crazy, and it's a lot of other people that are probably not getting paychecks either, y'all. There's other people out here not getting paid. Where's my okay. All right, now let me see if this will charge. Okay, it's on the charger, y'all. So that's charging. And here's my light. I'm still sitting in darkness. Yes, that's upsetting when working with no pay. I wouldn't do it. I don't care what they say. Because y'all playing with me. That's like slavery. You want me to work with no pay? We're not doing that. That's volunteer work at that point. I'm not a volunteer. You hired me to do a job. I deserve to get paid. Simple as that. And if I were them, I'd be out making money in other different ways. I'll be out finding, I don't know if they got side businesses. I'll be doing my side business. I would not be worried about going to work because y'all not paying me. Maybe they're going to get retroactive pay. I don't know how that's going to work, but Oh, and I want to tell people this too. Okay, so I am going to bring up the real estate thing briefly, but home ownership, okay? Home ownership. So if you are a homeowner, if you have a mortgage, the mortgage companies are sending out notices to your emails and probably sending out letters to your mailboxes. If you have been impacted by the government shutdown, your mortgage company will work with you, okay? You said, let me get my notepad. No, that's all I was going to say. Your mortgage company will work with you if you've been impacted by the government shutdown. I don't know how the rental offices are doing it. I don't know what the leasing companies are doing, but the mortgage companies will work with you if you've been impacted by this government shutdown and you're not getting paid, because they do understand. And they have contingency plans in place for you, and resources in place for you. Also, you might want to reach out to your local. Every state has like a homeowners assistance fund. I believe they all have one. They have one here. They may be able to help pay your mortgage for you if you need the assistance. Just putting it out there, y'all, if you've been impacted by the government shutdown. So that's why I say it's very beneficial to pursue home ownership. That's why I'm an advocate of it, y'all. Because it's not what people think it is. It's not like they want to come and take your house from you. It's just something good to partake in home ownership. I'm just shaking my head, y'all. Shaking my head. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. And maybe I'll do a live stream or a video on my real estate channel talking about that as well. Y'all. What you say before homeowner assistance? I was just talking about every state may have a homeowner assistance program. It's like a fund that they have. It's a certain amount of funds that they have in there, and they utilize the funds throughout that year. You have to apply for the funds if you've been impacted by. I know COVID was a big one, and they had funds in this thing, and if you were impacted by COVID, they would pay your mortgage for you. Also, like if you've been impacted by the government shutdown, they may have some funds out there for you. Just let your mortgage company know, give them a call, and see what what they have available in your particular state, because that they will help. And also, if you don't pay the mortgage, they will not count it against you. It will not hurt your credit report. Um, You just let them know what's going on, and you can pick and start your payments back up. I guess once, things calm down. Just stay in communication with your mortgage company, y'all. Okay? Just wanted to send that message out to people. Starting Netflix. I did not ask this thing. My remote is trying to kick Netflix. Netflix is starting up. I don't even watch Netflix, y'all. I don't know, but I have it, but I don't watch it. Because I'm like, oh, one day I probably will sign in and watch it. One day I'll probably watch some documentaries. One day I'm going to do this. But I don't be watching Netflix, y'all, anymore like I used to. Uh-oh, it just signed in, y'all. I had the TV off. It just turned back on. I think I accidentally pressed the remote. What about disasters? For disasters, yeah, for disasters too, call your mortgage company because they can point you in the right direction. And they also have, I think FEMA helps with that too. FEMA. FEMA helps with that. But still reach out to the mortgage company and reach out to FEMA. Now, I heard that sometimes FEMA will give you the runaround. I did hear that FEMA will give you the runaround. Cause I know, like, we had people that got impacted by, I think it was the tornadoes or hurricanes out in the mountains, and they were trying to get FEMA. Um, you can go on the website and file a claim, and you can see if your state and your area and your county was declared as I think they call it not a natural disaster, but like the somebody has to declare it as, I can't think of the word for it. Well, once they declare it as whatever it is, you can put your address in and you can claim whatever you need to claim for it. A state of emergency, I think that's the name of it. You have to declare it as a state of emergency. Yeah. Oh, my throat. I hope I'm not getting an itchy throat from these children, y'all. I'm just not for it. What am I making? Nothing, because I don't feel like getting up making anything. That's why a lot of times, I do eat out. And I know people are like, oh, you shouldn't eat out. You shouldn't eat out. But y'all, I believe in like sometimes you have to do what's best for you. Yeah, I got cough drops, but do I have cough drops? I think I do. I'm not sure. But y'all, when I get sick, cough drops don't be strong enough for me. My coughs get extremely bad to the point where it sounds, you would think I have bronchitis. And I just don't want to go through that again. I went through that last year. I went through that last year. And I'm not trying to go through that this school year. Actually, I went through that earlier this year. February, March, and April, I got sick back to back to back. I don't want to go through that again this year. So I got the colloidal silver. I got some herbal tea, which, oh, that's what I didn't do. I didn't make my herbal tea because I'm supposed to drink that at night and in the AM, y'all. So I need to do that. Hopefully, not getting sick. What could help it? Probably the herbal tea, probably the colloidal silver, and I have Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus tablets in my bag. And probably ginger ale, which I don't have any ginger ale in here right now. Make some tea. Yeah, I need to make some tea. I just don't feel like getting up doing it right now. But yeah, all of that. All of that, all of that, all of that. All of that. I'll probably sign off of here and probably find something to watch on YouTube and yeah, I'll probably make my tea. I'll see what in there that I can eat. I got a banana. I don't want it because once it starts turning brown, I don't eat them anymore. They have to be completely yellow, or I don't want them. So I would eat a banana. I could. Well, I had some raisin bran earlier. I might make me a bowl of raisin bran. I really don't eat cereal because Kellogg's and Monsanto's, but I do have raisin bran. I might eat those with some oat milk. That's probably what I'm gonna do. And just call it a day. And just call it a night until tomorrow. And I'll do my wrist exercises. You said cereal sounds good. I don't even really buy cereal anymore, but I happen to have some. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, y'all. It's probably what I'm gonna do. Yep, I just don't feel like dealing with all that, going in the kitchen, cooking and stuff. I mean, I can. I've done it before. I just don't feel like it because probably my mood and everything. When I get like this, I like to try to spoil myself. I tell myself, "Oh, I am worth a good meal right now. I am deserving of something really good that I like." But the vegan place was closed, so I have to wait. I'm gonna cook something you think good for you. We have to be delicate with ourselves, especially females, ladies out there. Be delicate with yourself, you know, because we go through so much as melanated females, being hated on by the caucasoids, being hated on by your own people, being hated on by other melanated males that like to talk about you all across social media for no reason, right? I mean, you did absolutely nothing to them, just being hated on. And, I'm just tired of feeling like we have to bite our tongues. We can't tell our truth. We can't talk about experience. They always want to say, you're playing a victim. You're playing a victim. How many times do you hear, you're playing a victim? No, you're not playing a victim. You don't need to be gaslit. People don't want you to talk about your experience because when you talk about your experience, then they feel like that's being a victim. That's not being a victim. That's talking about your walk of life, what you have gone through. And if people can't understand that, they can get the F off your channel and get the F off your social media. That's what they can do. I'm going to spoil myself regardless of who likes it. I don't care, right? You have to do that to yourself because we go through so much in this world and in this life and in this harsh reality in which we have to live. We didn't create this world. We were born into it. So create your own world. You know what I mean? And continue to manifest. Yeah, let me show you. This is my manifestation journal right here. Continue to manifest, y'all. And just know that a lot of us, we go through the suffering because we're under spiritual attack. There's nothing else to say, but you're just battling, you're a warrior, and you are under spiritual attack. That's the best way I can explain it. For people that don't understand it, they will never understand it. But you don't have to sit here and validate yourself for other people. You don't have to sit here and keep explaining yourself to anybody, jump through hoops, jump through barrels for anybody, tap dance for these white people. If they think you're not good enough to work with because they can't handle you making a commission, even though you're highly um, knowledgeable, you're good at what you do, you're very professional, you're all these things. They're telling you all these credentials about yourself. But I think I'm going to use another realtor that my sister referred me to because that's the family realtor, bitch. Right? Doesn't even make sense. If that was such the family realtor, you would have reached out to your family realtor to begin with. Why are you using the lender that I referenced for you to get all these deals, right? Why are you trying to get my opinion, trying to utilize my knowledge? If your family realtor was that special, then you would have reached out to them to begin with, right? But like I said, melanated people, white people don't like to see us with anything. White people don't think we deserve to live well. White people don't think that we basically, if you just have like a regular job and you're doing service work, which real estate is service work, but I'm talking about if you're just doing like regular work, like if you're doing just something they think you deserve, they're okay with that if you're serving them in that capacity. But anything that they think you're going to benefit from in a major way, they don't want to see you with it. He said, I can't find one time of the day where you ain't fine as hell, LOL. I'm very thank you, but I'm just very annoyed with it because y'all, even like years ago, when I was a little bit younger, well, much younger, I don't know how, but when I pulled up to the gas station and I would see white men stare at me and look at my car, and they look at me, and I knew what they were thinking. They're looking at me and looking at my car like, she's driving that. But sometimes they wouldn't say anything. And sometimes they would be like, nice car. And I was like, thank you. I'm just pumping gas in my car. It's just those type of things where you always got to be like feeling like you're looked upon a certain way in society. And I just don't, it's stupid. It's stupid. It's just dumb. That's something I'm not understanding. I'll have to watch again about the family realtor. Crazy thing is, I know more melanated people trying to bring me down instead of Caucasians. Yes, and melanated people will do it. It's just a sad truth. Well, my reality, yes. They probably thinking, wow. Yeah, CJ, I can't tell you how many times I've had to go through that with my own people. I don't know if I talked about it on the channel, but I had story time. If you go back, I did a video about story time, and I talked about it on my Instagram page where I had got this position where I was tutoring children at the school, right? And I liked the position, and I was doing very well with the position. I was getting compliments from the teachers. The students liked working with me. They were giving positive feedback about me to their teacher, and they really enjoyed working with me for no reason whatsoever. All of a sudden, I was a problem. I was a problem. People stopped speaking to me. People stopped, you know, it was just like I could feel that I was being watched and talked about for no reason. All of a sudden, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. I'm asking like, well, what is it that you need me to do? We can have a meeting so that I understand whatever your expectation is of me. That's why I'm here. But I really think the principal was jealous of me. I really think that I had been talked about behind my back. These were melanated females. And this is why I say melanated females go through it from all different avenues, from your own to the just everybody, y'all. Everybody. They go through it the worst, and it's bad here in America. I honestly think you could thrive more going to another country. And I'm so over this place. I'm ready to go. I got my passport. I'm telling other people to get their passports. And they keep saying, "Oh, I'm going to get my passport. I'm going to get it." Get your passport. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to leave. I was better off living in Germany, y'all. And I know people be like, But that's around the Germans. That's a bunch of Caucasian people. Guess what? Those Germans, all they did was stare at us like they had never seen melanated people before. But they didn't bother us. We're going, Germany is one place, Thailand is another. I want to go to Hawaii, which you don't need a passport to go there, and Canada. America is just annoying, y'all. It's stupid here. These people are just dumb and idiotic. My stomach is growling, y'all. I really got to eat. I'm just over it, y'all. I'm over it. Italy. Yeah, that's another place I would love to visit too. Just everywhere. As many places as I can go in a lifetime. I really want to take this trip to Africa next year in 2026. And I did hear back from Ashraf Kwesi's wife. Ashraf Kwesi, look him up. They said that they are still trying to solidify the information and the pricing for the packages. But my friend in Dallas definitely says she wants to go. And they're doing it in July. And I think they're doing a second trip in August. And we want to go for the July trip. You said they have Italian housing programs they'll help fund. Yeah, if I can find a way to support myself outside of the country, I will do it. I'm over this mess. They can have this mess. They've already tried to disenfranchise us enough. And now Americans are moving out of the country because they're tired of it. They're just over it, y'all. This stupid government shutdown, this stupid politics, all these just dumb tricks, this gaslighting, oh, you're not trying hard enough. Oh, well, do this X, Y, and Z. You do all this stuff and it still doesn't matter. It's rigged. I feel like Hassan Campbell. The game is rigged. It's rigged. I've been on here for 2 hours now. It's an hour and 20 minutes. It's rigged. When I tell you it's rigged, it's rigged. You can go to school, get your degrees. It's raining again. And you still go through it, y'all. It's like you still got to prove yourself to people. You're not seen as an equal. And that's just what it is. And I'm just done trying to prove myself to people. I don't care. I don't care anymore. It is what it is. Like it or don't. Love me or don't. Hate me or just leave me alone. I don't care. Rosa Parks would not want to hear that. You stay here and fight, Mama. We love America. Rosa Parks is not all that she was cracked up to be either. That's another misconception. They gave Rosa Parks, those accolades for something. She was not even the first person to give her seat on the bus. It was Claudette Colvin, a 14 or 15-year-old pregnant girl, and she was dark complected, and they did not want her to reap the what do you call it, they didn't want her getting recognized for that, so they gave it to Rosa Parks, y'all. Rosa Parks was like 42 years old when that happened. She was a gay lesbian. And it's just so much, even with our history, that they have. Black people are a part of this too. I can't blame white people for it because our own people, they'll do stupid stuff like that too. Like they try to, you know, navigate history and make it seem a certain way. And then even Martin Luther King was not all he was cracked up to be either. It was a lot that went on with that King family, that they scrubbed it off the internet, right? Because I researched it back in 2017. You can't find those videos anymore. But yeah, he was not what people thought he was either. And that King family is not who you think they are either. Black people have always had like this energy with them, this negative energy, and they try to catapult themselves in a light in front of the community, like they're doing all these things and they're for everybody, but they're really not for everybody. You say he was a cheater. I know he was a cheater. They say he was even cheating with white women. But you're sitting up here talking about you have a dream, where people are not judged by their skin complexion, but the content of their character. But you're out here cheating on your melanated wife, being used by the CIA. Then you're going to turn around and say, "Oh, I've led my people down a house, a burning house, or whatever." You know what? I'm gonna tell you this. If they didn't want Martin Luther King to have this type of leverage in a public platform, they would have never put cameras in front of his face. He would have never been able to speak to people because real people that tell real truth get censored and silenced. I know this from talking on my channel about COVID. Yeah, he was being used by the CIA, and you say he was working with the communists. People don't want to talk about that. They only talk about, oh, Martin Luther King Jr. Okay. But also too, I'm hearing that he could have been part of the what is it? I don't know if it's the Baphomet, the Secret Society, the Masons, or whatever that mess is. All these people are connected, y'all. All these people are connected. I don't fall for the antics. I really don't. The real people that make real change, they're behind the scenes and they're not catapulted to the forefront. Why do you think white schools are teaching Martin Luther King to everybody? Because they allowed him to be used by the CIA. They're not going to talk about the real people out here that are making changes in this world. Whatever happened to DJ? I don't know, John. Why don't you go figure it out? Why don't you go figure that out, okay? Don't come in here being stupid. I'm not in the mood for it. And stay away from my channel. But yeah, they're not going to talk about like anybody that really made a real difference like Gaddafi. And that's another person that I need to do a live stream about. Muammar Gaddafi. They're not going to talk about him. He was a man that made real change in his country. He made sure all his people had education, could go to college, could afford books, had housing, had houses, all of this type of stuff. His people were not suffering. They weren't impoverished. They weren't in poverty. Over here in America, they don't care about the homeless. They don't care about the hungry. They don't care. They will step on you, watch you die. You said gold standard. Oh yeah, and he was about to back the money up over there by gold, which is why Hillary Clinton was behind having him assassinated, y'all. She had him taken out. They don't talk about her war crimes, but she still gets to sit freely, right? She still gets to sit up here and still be a part of politics behind the scenes. That's what I'm saying. Like this whole government system is shady, and it's a big hypocrisy here. America acts like they're so, superior. Oh, this is such a good country. This is the best country to be in. If it's such the best country to be in, then why are they so evil, right? You said Hillary Clinton bragged about it. That's sad that she had that man taken out of here. That's real messed up. That's terrible, y'all. It's disgusting. She said, we came, we saw, we boomed him. She's evil, y'all. She is evil. That is terrible. And so is what's it her Bill Clinton. He's no better. He's no better. But people keep talking about, oh yeah, he's black, he smoked weed. Y'all sound dumb and ignorant. Oh, she keeps hot sauce in her bag, the Breakfast Club. Y'all laughing and giggling about that dumb mess. Yeah, we know she's black. She keeps hot sauce in her bag. What's one thing you keep in your bag? Hot sauce. She said that to pander to black people. First of all black, all melanated people, I don't even eat hot sauce. I don't even like hot sauce like that. But because she said these things, oh, we're going to vote for her. Just dumb and idiotic, y'all. And these are the antics that they play up to people that feed into this nonsense. Then you had freaking Kamala, sounded like Camel, Harris, having Megan the freaking stallion, which a stallion is really a male horse, but she's a female calling herself a male horse, gyrating all across stage. Body yada 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 yada. What does that have to do with politics? Talking about my body, my choice. Shut up. Enough of the shucking and jiving, y'all. When do it's an embarrassment, y'all. That represents y'all. She don't eat hot sauce like that. Have you considered being a politician? You know what? No, I don't consider myself being in politics because I feel like politics can be very dangerous. And I'm not about to put my life on the line for people that don't care about me for real. You see what they did with all the politicians. You see what they did with Muammar Gaddafi. No, it's these people are not worth it in this land for me to sacrifice my life for them for what? They're not that special to me. And then even the melanated people that really want to take a stand and make a change in the world, they are going to come under backlash by their own people, because that's how hypocritical melanated people are. They build you up to tear you down. That's all they do. So no, I would never be a politician. Mm-mm. Not for these people. They're not worth it. Melanated people, no, they're hypocritical too. Look at just everybody. They do everybody the same way. Build them up, tear them down. First, 1 minute they're behind you, you got their support. The next minute you say one little thing they don't like, they turn on you like that. That's how people are. They're hypocrites. Hypocrites. They're wishy-washy. I just told you how people act when it comes to business. You can't trust people. You said your voice can reach, though. Just something to think about. I'll talk about it, King. My voice is reaching by talking about it. But no, I don't see myself on anybody's campaign trail. Now, I do know one guy that he was running for, what was he running for? He was running for something. And I thought it was so interesting that he was running. And he gets my support, but I just can't. I don't want to. But I appreciate you. Mm-mm. No, they won't be putting me up there to tear me apart. H, no. I value myself too much for that. I protect my energy over that. Nope. Nope. Let somebody else do it. Somebody else be the scapegoat. Because I already know how people think, how people work. They think in a backwards manner. They're very backwards thinking. Bunch of NPCs walking around. 1 minute they support this, the next minute they support that. First, they like this. Oh, you said that. Look at what they're doing to Jasmine Crockett. And I don't agree with all her antics either, because I feel like she should. I honestly, I've watched her, I've listened to her speak, but I feel like she could present herself in a better way as well. That's just my personal opinion. Do I think she has, some credence to what she says? Yes, I do. But also, I feel that there's a certain way, a certain tact that she should have when delivering her messages. That's just my opinion and thoughts on that. But if I say that, that's going to be an issue with melanated people. Oh, why do you have to attack another black female? That's the first thing they're going to say. I'm just saying that I think she should be more tactful in her delivery. That's not attacking her. That's just saying, when you're dealing with politics, there's just a certain way you have to present yourself, or you should present yourself. That's all. But people, that's going to go right over people's heads, and they're just going to get so hypersensitive, and that they want to go back and look in all your history and what did you say about this person, what did you say. Like today, I talked about a boy that came to school, fourth grader, and was putting on fake nails in class, black nails, putting on fake nails, and they had designs on them. Now I saw them when he was leaving out of class, and he had these fake nails on his desk, and he grabbed them off his desk and took them with him to go to art class. So I'm looking at him like, what is he doing with these nails? He came back to class, he had them on his fingers. I looked at his hands. None of the girls have these fake nails on. And I'm talking about like what grown women would wear. Like they actually went and got their nails done. He had those on, like press on nails. So I told him, I said, what are you doing with those on? And why are you wearing those? I said, take those off. I said, you are a boy, take those off. Now, here's the thing. I know they're going to say, well, in school now, they can choose and pick and choose if they feel like being a boy or a girl today. I am not in agreement with that nonsense. He is a fourth grader. Let him understand what he is. He's a boy. So he was like, okay. So he's sitting in the corner, and I'm like, you need to take those off. Those nails need to come off your fingers. I'm trying, but it's the glue. I'm like, First of all, why does he even have fake nails to begin with? Then you're talking about you trying, but it's the glue, and then he's over there biting on his nails. That's what females do. So another boy, you say you from California. What's good, Greg? Another boy looked at him and was like, "Why do you got those on? Are those real?" He said, "But you're a boy." And I overheard the conversation and I was just listening and looking. So finally the boy walked back past me. I said, "Let me see your hands." I said, "Okay." So he took the nails off, right? I said, "Why are you wearing these?" I said, "Why are you wearing those anyway?" He said, "Because my friend asked me to do it, told me to do it." I said, "Who's your friend? What's your friend's name?" And he told me his friend's name. I said, "Don't do that again." I said, "God made you a boy for a reason. You understand? You hear me?" He was like, "Yes." But by me doing that, people would take issue with that because they're under the belief system that children should make a decision about their gender roles in fourth grade. Oh, if he feels like a girl today, you need to recognize him feeling like a girl. If she feels like a boy today, you need to recognize her feeling like a boy. And I remember in second grade last school year, one of the boys came to school with a tiara on his head. I'm like, so his mother let him walk out the house like this? I've seen boys come to school with their fingernails painted. Second grader, nail polish. Why? Why? Like, why are we doing this? You said seems misguided, but you did the right thing. He needs a father in his life, y'all. That's what he needs. But if I say this as a politician, somebody's going to get offended, hypersensitive, and upset. You know what I'm saying? Because the boy should not be coming to school wearing press on nails. That should not be happening in fourth grade. He's no more than 8 years old. Okay? Let him understand what it's like to grow up in his boy and manhood before he makes these type of decisions, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just too early for that. And that's just what I'm thinking. Like I heard in California is bad. Like some people said they have moved out of California because they're starting that stuff up in their schools. My friend in Dallas said that they had a whole staff meeting about this boy that's in the school, and they have to recognize that if he feels like a girl, then he has a right to use the girl's bathroom. So now the girls have to feel a certain type of way if they go to the bathroom because this boy that magically feels like a girl today can go into their bathroom. And I don't think that's fair to the other children at the school. Politicians didn't want daddy in the house, seems like. Oh, yeah. Well, somebody needs to have a male around him, an alpha male around these boys. And that's why I say that we really need to see more males in the classroom settings. Boys need to see more men in these classrooms because apparently they're not seeing men influence at home. Like they're not getting enough male influence at the house. If you say this, it's going to be a problem. Oh, who is she talking about? You not talking about my son. I'm raising my son. Who are you to talk about my child? My child got me. I'm the mama and the daddy. You can't be a female and be the mother and the father. I'm sorry. There are certain things that a male brings that a woman just cannot do. This is the innate structure of a man, that they bring this masculine component to a situation, just like a female brings a feminine component to the situation. This is why we have female and male. That's the balance. Nature made this. So I'm not making this up. You want to make me feel like I'm insane. You want to gaslight me because I'm following the order of laws of nature, just like the animals and plants do, just like nature does. But because we are human and now they have implemented these choices, we're supposed to just accept all of this imbalance that goes outside of the laws of nature. Like two men cannot procreate, two women cannot procreate. But because, happy morning, Miss Brown, how are you, the farmer? But because now They have made a way with artificial ways to procreate. Now, all of a sudden, two men can make a baby and two women can make a baby. No, they can't. No, they can't, because you still need the male genitalia and the female genitalia to procreate. Now, I know that they are trying to make it a way where they can implant an embryo in a male, which to me is insane. It's insane, y'all. Men do things in a gruff kind of way, women do things in a soft kind of way. Balance, yes, conscious. I'm sorry, cosmics network. Exactly. Exactly, exactly. You still need the X and Y chromosome. That thank you. Because we know when we were born, females come with X. It's big X, little x. And males come with big X, Y chromosome. So really, who comes first, the male or the female? The female, because the X chromosome comes first. Shout out to females. But I'm just saying, y'all, we need balance. We need each other, is what I'm saying. And I just feel like it's stupid to me to be going against the law of nature and then making it seem natural. And if you don't accept it, then you're gaslighting people, saying there's something wrong with them. Only God can recreate the perfection of human. That's right, the farmer. Exactly right, the farmer Joe. You're either XX or XY, only way it works. That's true. That's true, Cosmic. Generally, all are XX, to our hormone. It kicks in the shift to XY. You're exactly right, Cosmic. We all start off as XX. And we went over this in biology. Y'all remember, all of us start off as looking as feminine females first when we're in development. And then if it's determined by your genetic, structure and traits that you're going to be male, that's when you start getting those male chromosomes and you start developing it into a male, and that starts in utero. But I don't know why people are acting like there's something wrong with what the creator has designed us to do. It's just craziness to me, y'all. It's insanity. And the fact that they're making us feel wrong, that we believe in what our creator has designed us to be, they're telling us that we need to accept and embrace the opposite of the laws of nature. We need to go outside of what nature did, outside of what our creator designed us to do, and embrace the opposite of it. Does That's to me insanity. They want you to believe it's as humans know better. Humans don't know better. Obviously, we were perfectly divinely designed as we are. We are able to do everything we were meant to do exactly how the creator designed us to do it. Why are they messing with it? I don't know. I don't under I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I never saw male animals say, hey, we're going to go out here and try to procreate by ourselves without a female. I never saw it happen. I never saw two female lionesses get together and say, yes, you're going to impregnate me. We're going to have baby cubs together. It doesn't happen. Even the animals know to follow the natural laws of nature. They just naturally do it. And our animals are so smart. They're so tapped into us as human beings. They automatically recognize a male and a female. They automatically know who's male and who's female. My cats automatically know I'm a female. Prancer knows he's a male. And like he's protective over me, basically. He doesn't want other male like energy in here. And Tinkerbell knows that I'm a female. It's just animals know this. So why do humans want to change and think that something is wrong with this? Like, y'all, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know what's wrong with this world, these people. Used to watch the video just earlier from Cam Higby This girl was making a whole argument that males in the animal kingdom are always having same X relations. what what animals are doing that? I never see it when they show the National Geographic Channel. I never see that. Animals mate with each other and they go into heat with one another because they are trying to procreate. I've never seen males doing that. Truth be told, we have those same instincts. We just lost how to use it. Yes, the Farmer Joe. I think a lot of our innate instincts have been overshadowed by um, just, all of these outside factors that have been placed upon us. She tries to say all of them. Mm, I didn't know that. So even birds are doing this, cosmic, even the birds and the fish. That's kind of crazy to me. I've never heard of this. And I don't believe that argument because every time I've watched a show about animals and procreation, it's always a male and female. The problem with these arguments is something called Bonhoeffer's theory of stupidity. Lonesome Dove said, cats, what are cats doing? So you're saying cats are being gay, Lonesome Dove? That's the stupidity she was trying to make. It makes no sense, y'all. So we need to go back to the basic laws of nature because I just think it's insanity to go out here and try to recreate what has already been created. You can't outcreate the creator. You said, are cats gay? Y'all, I will say this. I had two male cats. They were brothers. And sometimes they would get to fighting, and one would jump on top the other one. And I didn't like the way it was looking, so I'll break them apart. And my sister would be like, there they go being gay again. But actually, I didn't know they were both male. I really thought that one of them was a female because it looked like it could have been a female. So when I took them to the vet, I found out that they were both male cats. So I had to rename her. Her name was Lacey, but I renamed him and his name became Tigger. And I was always wondering, why was Lacey so dominant? I was like, oh, look, she's fighting her brother. She's beating her brother up. Look at her. She can fight. But no, Lacey was actually a male cat, y'all. And I didn't know it. It's a dominance thing. Okay. You laughing at me, Farmer Joe? Y'all, I took him to the vet, y'all. And I was like, I said, yeah, she's so aggressive and she likes to fight her brother. And I had got like these leashes, these collars for them, and they had like armor fatigue collars. So Elmo was the boy cat. Elmo had like a blue collar, and Lacey had like this reddish pinkish collar. Well, the vet was like, well, they're both males. He said, they're males. They both are. I said, what? I was on the phone like this. I was on the phone with my mom. I said, Mama, did you hear what he said? I was like, he said both of them are male cats. I was like, oh my goodness. I feel like returning one of them because I didn't know they were both male cats. But you have to sign a document saying that you will adopt these cats and you will take them into your life and you will cherish these cats. So I ended up renaming the cat, y'all, Tigger instead of Lacey. That's what happened. How did in the world? And then I just, y'all, I don't know what I was thinking. But now I know how to tell the difference between the male cat and the female cat. Okay. Now I know the difference. But I didn't know. I didn't know until I took him to the vet. And I don't know why I thought it was a female because I guess she had like, it had a narrow face, it had a narrow neck, and it kind of had a face that looked like a female cat. But when I adopted the cats, their names were Samson and Simon. So what about that made me think it was a female, y'all? I don't know. See, I told you that was one of my Valley Girl moments, y'all. You said Jules, Cosmic. You said Jules. But now I know the difference, y'all. So I will not make that mistake again. Did I tell y'all about the time I thought one of my cats had fleas? Y'all, so one day, and this was my mother, right? She was there all day with the cats one day. And we got, keep in mind, we got the cats when they were like some weeks old. So they were kittens when we got them. They were kittens. So they were still developing. So I didn't know that cats get the same thing. Like, so male cats get the, they get the teats or whatever you call them. Y'all remember? Do y'all remember? It was that actor. He had a cat and he named it Jinx. He named the cat to use the bathroom, to go to the bathroom, whatever. I can't remember his name. Anyway, I didn't know that cats they develop like that. Okay, so they were getting these things, these little teat things or whatever, so that they could. It's the same thing that female cats get when they nurse their babies. So male cats get those too, and I didn't know it. So my mother called me one day, and when I came home from work, she was like, "Yeah, um, I don't know what's going on with Tigger, but it looked like he got fleas." I said, "What? Tigger got fleas?" "Yeah, and I think he's passing them and giving them to Elmo." I said, "What? He's giving them to Elmo?" She said, "Yeah, because he got these two dots on him right there, and look, he got a whole bunch of them. He had 8 of them, right?" So Elmo started getting the same thing in the same spot. So I go to PetSmart. So I'm like, "You know that movie?" "Yeah, Farmer Joe." So I go to PetSmart. I'm like, "Yeah, well, I got to do something about this." So I go to PetSmart. I'm explaining to the girl in the aisle. I'm like, "Yeah, I think my cat has fleas." She's like, "Well, what do they look like?" I said, "Well, my mama said that, underneath like their belly area, they got these dots coming. They're forming, and then the other one is giving them to the other one. So they're passing them around back and forth." So she tells me that I can get a flea collar for the cats, right? So I go into the cat aisle and I get like this. It's a white thing that you put around their neck. It looks like it's like this real thick white thing that you put on their neck, and it's supposed to stop the fleas. So I get one flea collar and I put it around um at that point Tigger's neck, right? Tigger had the little narrow neck. So I put the flea collar around his neck. So now he's walking around with a white collar looking like he's been in a car accident, y'all. You said crunches popcorn loudly, y'all. So then I make a vet appointment. I take him to the vet. I show up with with the flea collar, and I got them both in the cage. And I'm like, "Yeah, they might have fleas." So you know what the vet told me? This is the same vet that had to tell me that they were boys. He said, "Well, they're developing." And he was like, they get these as cats. They get 8 of these things. So when the mother cat nurses, she has all these cats that are nursing and feeding on her. That's what male cats get too. I didn't know that male cats get the same thing as the female cats, y'all. It's just that they don't produce milk, but the females get pregnant and they can produce the milk. I didn't know this. So the vet had to tell me that that's what was going on with the kittens. They were just developing, they were just growing into cats. Y'all, I just, I was so lost. I was like, every time I bring these cats in, it's always something. And I'm like, he probably thinks, like, why is she even a pet owner at this point? So I told my mom, I said, "Well, they're not fleas." Because we were trying to give them baths and everything. They didn't have fleas, y'all. So I took that collar off his neck. He was running around looking like he was in a car accident. I took that thing off of him. Oh, yeah. I have so many stories with those cats, y'all. Those were some of my favorite cats because they were very unique and they had personalities. They had some interesting personalities. Lonesome Dove, you laughing at me? Yes. Yeah. So, in case you didn't know, that's what goes on with cats, y'all. They develop. Oh my gosh. It was kind of just embarrassing, but you don't know until you know. You got to learn, y'all. Mm, 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 mm. That collar that looks like they've been in a car accident. Yes. It's a white thick collar that you can buy, and it's a flea collar. And he was running around the house. I said, "Look at him," and I was laughing at him. I said, "He looked like he'd been in a car accident." I thought the cat had fleas, y'all. Listening to my mama, she's just like, and he's passing them to Elmo. They were brothers, y'all. So I personally believe that Tigger was probably a little bit older than Elmo, because Elmo acted like a little toddler, and Tigger acted more independent. I remember one day we let them out of the house and they ran across the street, right? They ran across the street together. I heard a whole bunch of dogs barking. Ow, 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 ow. All of a sudden, y'all, I saw Tigger running back across the street. He took off, left his brother across the street. Elmo was over there to defend for himself, y'all. And y'all, Tigger used to gallop like a horse. He didn't run like a regular cat. He would gallop, gallop. He was shaped like a horse. Y'all think I'm joking. And when they would walk, they didn't walk like regular cats. They would kick their hind legs out. And so one day, I told y'all about the story when they accidentally jumped from the second story window, and Tigger plummeted to the ground. I think I told y'all I was trying to save him because he was hanging off the screen, hanging dangling from the window. So me and my sister, we heard a thump. And we were downstairs. We were like, "What's that?" So we looked. We heard another thump. So we go upstairs to check. We see that the window is open, and not just that the window was open, but that the screen was hanging off the ledge. So we look, and Elmo was nowhere in sight. Tigger was clenching on for dear life, hanging on to the screen that's dangling from the window. And I'm looking like, do the neighbors see what's going on? So she goes outside to try to save Tigger from falling to the ground. She's going to try to catch him. So I'm trying to like move the screen, and ease it back into the house. As I move the screen to ease it back into the house, he loses his grip, y'all. He loses his grasp. He goes flying down from the second story window, y'all. And he starts doing all this gymnastics in the air, trying to catch his balance. And he falls. Well, he lands on the ground on all fours, y'all. He lands on all fours. He goes and runs under the house. Anyway, we had to leave that day. So the three of us, we end up leaving, but we end up bringing the cats back in the house, right? When we get back to the house, we left some food out for Elmo. Elmo didn't eat. Tigger ate. Elmo didn't eat. We're thinking Elmo probably has some type of internal damage because, he's probably sore. He probably has something wrong with him. We don't know what's going on with Elmo. We're concerned. My mom was like, and keep in mind, this is on a Sunday night, a Sunday evening. My mom was like, we probably should take him to the vet. So this was back in the day, y'all. Get the yellow pages. I don't know why I didn't used to use Google. I would look up stuff in the yellow pages. That tells you how long ago this was. I'm in the yellow pages trying to find a vet, a 24-hour vet that's open, that can check out the cat to make sure he's okay. Because I'm like, oh, what if he has internal bleeding? What if he's broken something? He's not eating. What's wrong? He's probably hurt. So we get in the car. We find a vet. I don't even know how I found my way because I'm so bad with directions, y'all. I find my way to this 24-hour vet. It's a Sunday night. My mother, she's holding Elmo in the seat. So we take him inside. We tell the vet what's going on. He fell from the second story window, y'all. So you said that's how you found barbers back then? So she takes him to the back. And she comes back. She said, he's perfectly fine. He's doing okay. She said, I sat him on the table. I watched him walk, and he's walking just fine. And so my mother told her, oh, I forgot to tell you. he doesn't walk like a regular cat. He doesn't walk like a normal cat, because these cats, I'm telling you, when they would walk, they used to kick their hind legs out. I've never seen anything like it in my life. And then their hind legs were longer than their front legs. And then he would walk like pouncing, like he was walking in the jungle. You know, like how lions, how when they walk they kind of pound when they walk. That's how Elmo used to walk, like he was the king of the jungle. And he was the most babyfied cat ever. Like he was such a babyfied cat, y'all. And he didn't think any rules applied to him. Like if you tell Elmo get down, he would ignore you. Elmo stopped doing that. He didn't listen. He just didn't think he had to listen to you. So he was very spoiled, basically, Elmo was. And he would growl. I didn't know that cats could growl like that. But they had like this toy that my mother would buy them. It's this purple toy she would get them. And it was almost like a little, I don't know, bouncy mouse thing tied to the string. And it's like they knew that these toys were for them, because soon as she came inside with the bag, they would get all excited, and then he would growl, and he bit the thing off the string. And then I guess he thought he was like hunting for prey. And oh God, y'all would have to see it. It was just a lot. It was a trip with these cats, y'all. They were probably some of the most entertaining cats I've ever had. Very entertaining. I remember the time he got stuck in a tree. This was Elmo again. I remember the time Elmo got lost and went missing for days and came back in time for Christmas. This was Elmo again. And I remember the time that Elmo, my mother thought he went down the gutter. She said, "Oh, I was outside. I saw him go down the gutter." She said, "That's the end of Elmo." She came back in the house. She said, "Elmo is gone." I said, "What?" I go outside. I'm looking for Elmo. He went down the drain. He went down the gutter. That's the end of Elmo. He's gone. Elmo reappeared, y'all. Elmo reappeared. I'm telling you, cats do have 9 lives. Cats do have 9 lives. The time that he went missing, the time he went missing is it was his fault, y'all. So these cats would have a way of like, we're trying to leave. They would sneak out the door and they want you to play tag, like, oh, catch me if you can. Cats will do this. You're gonna wait till we're about to leave and y'all wanna leave out the door. One day, my mama got mad. She said, F it. They just gonna stay outside, right? So I don't know what happened. Elmo goes missing. We couldn't find him. And Tigger found his way back to the house. So Elmo's gone. That night, usually we would think he'll be back. He didn't show up. The next day, no Elmo. Third day, no Elmo. And this goes on for at least a good week, y'all. Elmo's not nowhere to be found. We don't know where Elmo is. My mama is devastated, y'all. She's devastated because she had a real bond with Elmo. And she said one day she got in the car. She took Prancer with her. Not Prancer, I'm sorry. She took Tigger with her, y'all. Tigger was his brother. She takes Tigger. They go riding through the neighborhood looking for Elmo. She didn't find him. So I remember when she would say and call Elmo's name, he would start, ew, ew, because he knew, they know their names, right? So he knew that his brother was missing. So she was like, I don't care what happens for Christmas. I just want Elmo back, and I just want Elmo back. So this, we had the Christmas tree up. That's back, back in the day. The Christmas tree is up. Elmo's not here. She just is no Elmo. So every day I'm at work, I'm calling, I come home. Elmo didn't show up yet. Nope, Elmo didn't show up yet. Y'all, it was early. I'm talking about probably like 5 a.m. Tigger's in the room with me. We hear a cat screeching outside. Ow! Like a cat. Like they getting into a cat attack, right? So I look up. Tigger looks up. We look at each other. I look out the window. I run downstairs. I wake the whole house up. Y'all, I heard a cat. I heard a cat outside. So the whole house is up. We all getting ready. We outside. We in our pajamas. I go outside. It's still dark outside. My daddy, he goes outside. We looking. My daddy said he saw a cat that looks like Elmo. and in the back of the house, right? But guess what? That was not Elmo. That was another cat. It was a tabby, but it wasn't Elmo. It was gray, but it wasn't Elmo. So we don't know what happened. My mother all of a sudden says that she opens the front door. Guess who's sitting on the front doorstep, y'all? Elmo. So we think that Elmo and that cat must have gotten to a spat. Elmo got nervous. Elmo was scared for days. Elmo found his way back home. Elmo arrived just in time for Christmas, y'all. Elmo made his way back. The first thing he did when he came back in the house, he started purring and rubbing up against my mother's like legs and stuff. And she had on shorts and she was screaming. She said, "Oh, I don't know where this cat has been. I don't know where he's been." And he's rubbing up against me. But they had a real special bond. So that was his way of greeting her. Because these cats would always greet everybody. And they never like hissed at anyone. They never scratched anyone. They always welcomed everyone. So Elmo showed back up, y'all. Elmo showed back up. And then I remember the time that Tigger got an attitude because we left him outside and he got an attitude with the whole house. So he finally made his way back inside, but it was his fault because we were about to leave. So he got left outside. So when he came back, he got mad and wouldn't interact with anybody in the house. You know what he did? He faced the wall the whole day. He had his face towards the wall. His back was facing us. He was facing the wall. And then he had turned towards the balcony at one point. He was facing the screen sliding door and wouldn't say anything, wouldn't look at us, wouldn't do anything. Cats can get attitudes, y'all. Cats can get attitudes. I was laughing. I said, "Look, y'all." I said, "Tigger got an attitude, y'all." Tigger had an attitude with the whole house, the whole entire house. Because he used to have a special bond with my sister, too. And he wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't say anything to my sister. Just he had it out against all of us. The tragic part of the story of these cats, y'all. The tragic part, it hurts me till this day. We had the cats for 4 years. They were born in April. They were Aries. The tragic part of the story is I left the cats with my parents because I couldn't have pets where I was living. So my mama used to have the cats and stuff like that. But I would still care for them. I would still take them to the vet sometimes and stuff like that. But I didn't have them in my care. Well, one day, the cats got put into a cage and left outside in the parking lot one night. And I didn't know it. And I went out there and my mama said that she saw the cats and yeah, that's where they were. Luckily, she took the cats back, home or whatever. Then the second time, what ended up happening behind our backs, somebody gave the cats away. And we never recovered Elmo, Tigger. They were gone. We put up flyers. My mama went all the way out to another county 45 minutes away because somebody said they saw the flyer. They think they saw one of the cats. They went out to, looking. But yeah, those cats got given away behind our backs, y'all. It was very devastating, very devastating. And it took me years and years. And I said I was never going to get another cat, another pet, because every time I get pets, something happens to them. My first cat that I had got bit on the neck when I was young. I was a little girl, and she got put to sleep. So I didn't understand the concept of got put to sleep. I didn't know that, she was suffering and she had to have surgery, so they put her to sleep. I didn't know that. I thought she was going to come back. But my mom was like, "No, they put her to sleep." And I was like, "Well, when am I going to see her again?" But I never saw her again. And then I remember the second cat I had when we were in Germany, she ended up getting pregnant before we left. So they would not let her fly. We didn't know she was pregnant, y'all. They wouldn't let her fly. So one lady in the building said she would keep the cat for us. My daddy sent the check over so she could get put on the plane to fly after she had the kittens. The woman gave the cat away and gave the kittens away, and I was devastated. I was like 9. Then the Tigger and Elmo situation occurred. So after that, I said I'm done with pets, y'all, because I couldn't handle it anymore. But now, years later, here I am with Tinkerbell and Prancer. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I got them chipped, microchipped or whatever. That was a part of their adoption process that was done, and I also got them fixed. But yeah, I said I'm not getting rid of my pets for anyone, right? And if my pets don't like their energy, I'm going to pay attention to it. I'm not going to overlook it. If they don't rock with you, I ain't rocking with you. If they don't like your energy, stay away from my house. Simple as that, y'all. Pay attention to your pets. But yeah, that's the story of the history of me having pets. I've never had a dog. I've never had a dog before. I would like a fish. I would like a fish tank. I would do some fish. I wouldn't mind having a puppy though. I wouldn't mind having a puppy, but I don't know how well they're going to do with the cats, because I did bring a baby kitten in here because I was going to transport it to my friend, and they hissed at that baby kitten, y'all. You said you love animals? I'm sure animals love you too. Animals are just, they're so different from human beings. They're so loyal. That's what I think, that's why a lot of people have pets, because they're so loyal. No matter how much you yell at them, no matter what you do to them, they know that you mean them well and you would never harm them. So, yeah. Even though I still contemplate sometimes going back and forth about giving Prancer away. I really considered it for the first year, like, do I want him, because of just some things that he does, and like he doesn't get along with Tinkerbell. They fight. I don't like the fact that he attacks the female cat. I don't like that, y'all. Yeah, fish are soothing, but sometimes the tank stinks up the house. So I've heard. I think goldfish are like that. But like the tropical fish, they might not stink. You got to really pay attention to changing the water, and they can die. My sister had fish, and her fish always kept dying. She also had a lizard, which I told her, I said, don't bring that reptoid in the house because I'm not coming to visit. She got it anyway. And y'all, all we heard downstairs at night was crickets, because lizards eat crickets. I go in the dining room, cricket, cricket, cricket. It's just like, it was too much. I couldn't do it. Live crickets. That's what they eat, y'all. You also can feed them lettuce and stuff like that. But that lizard died because they didn't take care of that lizard. They wouldn't. I said, if you're not going to feed him, at least let him roam freely. They didn't even let the lizard roam to go fend for food. She was like, oh, he can't survive in the elements of the weather. It would have been better to just let him roam freely, y'all. They had a bearded dragon. That thing cost like $75 or something like that. A bearded dragon. And then at one point, my mama would come over there and be talking to the thing. And she said she gave it water. I'm like, you said you don't like reptoids, but you over there, y'all, it's a mess. It's a mess. But everything has feelings, y'all. You got to treat animals right, because karma. But yeah, I've been on here for so long. It's almost 5 a.m. I can't believe I came on here this late. I've been on here for 172 minutes. So it's that 2 hours and 12 minutes, y'all. Have y'all enjoyed the live stream? Give the video a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, y'all. I'm probably going to get off here now. I think I have shared enough with y'all. Fish are soothing. Yes, they are. I'm not opposed to a fish tank. It's just that I don't know how that's going to work out with the cats, because I know they're going to try to get in that cage and mess with those fish. I can see it all day, because they try to. I need to get the TV mounted, because when I have like anything with fish on the screen, they'll jump on top of the TV stand and try to attack the TV, y'all. You said love you too. Thank you, John. Shout out to you. Well, anyway, this has kind of helped me from my day from earlier. Cats will try to eat fish. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. Yeah, I'm still aggravated. Like, it takes me a while to really calm down when I've been wronged. This happened to me last year in another situation, but I'm trying not to think about it too much. I can't help what happened. I just gotta let it go, y'all. I gotta let it go. But anyway, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Brown Girls Are Beautiful says to walk in your divinity and, celebrate yourself, stay blessed, and continue to fight these wars and these battles out here, y'all. Thank y'all so much. I'll tune in with y'all later.